All right, folks, this is your favorite ex-Muslim atheist, Sultan, and welcome to another episode of Sultan's House of Sin. All right, people, I think I need to change the name of the show because there's one person I'm really enjoying having on board or having him in my house of sin, and that is John Richards. John, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How the devil are you?
I am very good. I mean, given that your London weather is all over the place, but I think I'm under the circumstances, I'm doing pretty good.
I know. You should have been here in April. April was our summer. It didn't rain at all. Lovely sunshine. But August is a big disappointment.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Maybe, we'll see how the next couple of months unfold. But as you know, I'm just traveling like a free bird. So I don't know where I would be in 2 weeks' time or a week's time. So that's pretty cool. So, but other than that, I think I'm enjoying England a lot, but I think now I'm starting to get a bit homesick. I do miss Australia a little bit. So speaking of Australia, one thing I'm really upset that I'm not in Australia at the moment, and that is the fact that we are having our next national census. And last census was in 2016. So Australia does these censuses every 5 years or so. And I wanted to share a very interesting fact. In the last census, people, and post-war Australia has been very secular. Australia is a secular country, unlike your country. But for all intents and purposes, you are secular, but, labels matter.
Yes.
So
we are secular in practice, more or less, and not secular in theory. Because our constitution says we've got an established religion. Nobody goes to it much.
Yeah.
But that's a historical legacy.
Yeah, well, which is a bad legacy, and you guys need to work on it and try to get rid of it.
Definitely.
Australia, on the other hand, despite of being an English dominion and extension of English culture, I think when we met, we spoke about it, how different it is from England. In some cases, Australia is far more similar to America, and then in other cases, far more similar to Britain. So I guess that's what happens when you separate over 100 years ago, and then you end up having your own values. So I just wanted to share some quick stats on the religious breakdown or denominations in Australia. So in the last census, for the very first time, Australia atheists became the single largest denomination, which stood at 30.1. Roman Catholicism was, I would say, distant second, 22.6. Anglicanism, 13.3. Other Christians, 16.3. So if you unite all three of them, then fair enough. But we all know, probably you know more than I do, how different they are from each other, how much they hate each other. So
even within those labels, they have many denominations.
Yeah, right, exactly. Same like Islam. So Islam here is only sitting at 2.6. I remember in the last 2016 census, so some of these priests were scaremongering in the newspapers, and they were saying you must tick Christian or any form of Christianity, otherwise Australia will become a Muslim country, which is obviously nonsense because, as you can see, Islam is only 2.6%. And we know most Muslims, even if they are not really very religious, they would tick that just to strengthen their numbers. So 2.6 Islam, Buddhism 2.4, Hinduism 1.9, other religions 1.7, but not stated or unclear. I would say they're agnostics, 9.6%. So if you include them as well, we are sitting at smack bang 40%. 40% of Australians are agnostics or atheists. Now, that was in 2016. And as you know, the so-called new atheist movement is is just spreading like wildfire, thanks to some of the modern new atheists like Richard Dawkins, and I think it's already gone to the third wave now, where people like us also came forward, and the hundreds of YouTubers who are spreading reason and rationality and the importance of science. So, which is obviously helping. But now even there are new people are coming forward who are inspired by the second tier of evangelical atheists, as they like to call us. So this is
missionaries.
Yeah, missionaries. Yeah, that's right. And so anyway, so that was last year. I just filled out the census form today but unfortunately I wasn't able to put my no religion in. So the other person in my household, I filled it out for the household. So I ticked no religion for that, for my partner who is in that house. So that is where we sit. So I want to say to all the Australians who live in Australia and listen to me, even if you are not religious, ask yourself, if you're not religious, why are you ticking Christian or any form of Christianity, especially when you know how absent religion is from your life and how absent it is from our politics? So please tick no religion. And when you tick no religion, I am hoping that this time it would go up to 33 to 35%. And we would like to lower that number, not stated or unclear, from 9.6 to maybe 8 or 7, and then get that up to no religion. Last time I think Richard Dawkins did a study. There was a survey, and Richard Dawkins did a study on top of that. And they asked, why do you tick Christian when they couldn't even tell what was the first book of Christianity or what was the first Bible? So they said, we ticked Christianity because I like to think of myself as a good person, as though being good is synonymous with being Christian. And that's the same problem in all religions. So it's the same message to Muslims and Christians. If religion is not a part of your life, you're not a Christian. If you think that you're a cultural Christian or cultural Muslim, throw that away. You don't need that title.
Well, I can say that the UK had a census last year, 2020. We do it every 10. Earlier this year, in May 2021. That's right.
Right.
And the organization that I now lead, Atheism UK, staged a campaign on this very subject to suggest that people who are non-active worshippers should describe themselves on the census form as non-religious, nuns.
Yeah.
We haven't got the result yet. They're still counting them, but I'll let you know when we do.
I reckon even that is a bit dodgy. I think they should pick no religion, or they should just write atheist, because probably not atheist, because again, the word atheism, it comes with a bit of baggage where people are a bit like, oh, I don't want to call myself an atheist, but I don't believe in any God or religion. But that's what it means. For example, the most famous person that I think of when the person who says that is Neil deGrasse Tyson, who says, I am not any ist. The only ist I am, that is scientist. But do you believe in God? No, I don't believe in God. Well, you are an atheist, whether you like the label or not. But I think labels are useful. But anyway.
Yes. Especially when other people apply them to us. Those labels are particularly useless.
Right. So there's quite a lot that I want to go through today. Some are horrific news and very horrible news that I must cover. But I will get some fun and good news out of the way too. I'll sprinkle them along the stream, and so the mood doesn't go down too far down. So one guy who used to be obsessed with me, but then we all ended up blocking each other. I don't know if he blocked me first or I blocked him or whatever. We had a bit of a online spat, I think nearly 2 or 3 years ago. I think maybe 2018 or 2019. His name is Asadullah Andalusi. Apparently, he's a doctor, Asadullah Andalusi now. I don't know what kind of a university these guys go to, but okay, doctor. You are a doctor. If you've been recognized, then so be it. One of his videos went. Well, they released. They didn't go viral or anything, but they released this video, and I thought that I should talk about this because it's very important, as we have been saying for quite some time that Islam is on the way down, and people are leaving Islam in huge numbers. And it's not just ordinary Muslims; it's actually academics, Hafizes. Hafiz is a person who has memorized the whole Quran, which is sometimes when they want to shoot down the argument, that's, well, they've only memorized the Quran, they haven't understood it, which is kind of true, actually. I mean, that's because reading the Quran in Arabic, even though you have no understanding of the language, it is considered virtuous. It's kind of like, I remember that line from Pirates of the Caribbean when two of those pirates, they go, he goes, I'm reading Bible. He goes, but you don't even know how to read. He goes, you get credit for trying. So it's the same thing in Islam, or especially in Indo-Pak, Bangladesh, that subcontinent religion. People say, even if you read it in Arabic and people read it, they have no idea what's written in that. They have no understanding of that, but you will get the sawab. You will get credit for it. So that's how they shoot it down. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So here's the video. I'm not going to play that because these guys, unfortunately, I don't trust them. They would send you copyright strikes. They will shoot you down whichever way they can. So he says that thousands, or maybe hundreds, I can't remember now. The audio is pretty poor, but you can go and check it out on my Twitter. He says that hundreds, if not thousands, of young Muslims have come to him and they have said that we are having doubts, we're leaving religion, and then he goes into why these people are leaving religion, etc., etc. So we tweeted about that. I think Abdullah Sami tweeted about that as well, and then he gave a response where he said, well, I did say that hundreds or maybe 1,000 people have come to him saying that they are having doubts and they've left Islam. But he said, what I didn't mention was the fact that 90% of them, I tend to revert them back to Islam, which is, again, undemonstratable claim, and we'll take it with a pinch of salt. But just as I tweeted that, someone actually sent me a message. And these are the kind of people, I would say, who are leaving Islam in huge numbers. So I made this video. Actually, before that, I just as you know, I'm traveling and I like to travel and I like to film myself. So I made this video. Just have a look at this. This little calm, funny way to express myself. I was in Soho the other day and I had a message for people. Actually, no, sorry. I think you can't hear that. Let me share the audio as well.
All right, my young people, especially my young Muslim youth. You know, you guys are missing out on a lot. Look at this. Look how beautiful the life is. There's people everywhere. This is the life of degeneracy, right? They tell you not to do this so you can do this after you die. Isn't that perfect? Doesn't that make sense? So wake up. Fuck it. Fuck religion.
So I just thought that I should just put it out there, and I got a lot of messages from people, some saying that, you know, we want to live a free life, etc. And obviously degeneracy part, that's just a sarcastic comment. But one person just sent me a message today or yesterday, which I just saw it today. He said, F religion, thanks to you, a Hafiz again is a memorizer of the Quran. He knows the whole Quran word by word, letter by letter. And a person who has been affiliated with religious education, so he's been a da'i, a proselytizer, for more than 16 years, have finally left Islam last year. And time to time, I show these messages just to tell you that people are leaving a lot of people are leaving Islam in huge numbers, but these guys are just starting to realize that, and these guys, there's a damage control. There's a famous video of Muhammad Hijab having a meltdown, yelling at people who have left Islam. Asadullah now saying it. Bilal Farouk, I think, is a Canadian proselytizer imam. He said the same thing, that thousands of people are leaving Islam. So Islam is going down, and the reason why it's going down is because it just cannot stand up to modern discoveries. There's so many scientific bungles in the Quran that some of the best minds in the Islamic theology, in the Islamic academia or scholarship, cannot actually justify, like stories of Gog Magog and salt and fresh water don't mix, and earth is flat or sun goes around the earth. There's so many problems in Islam, and ordinary people like us as well can just pick it apart and just put it to the public. And then and obviously there's so many morality problems within the theology of Islam and the life of Prophet as well. So this is something I just thought that I should bring it up and let people know that this fight is ongoing and it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see Soho buzzing again after lockdown, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here, because salt water and fresh water don't mix, and neither does hot water and cold water.
Yeah, that's right. We have a joke in that. He goes, we have a Punjabi joke in this, and this guy brings a glass of water to him. He goes, it's a hot country, so he goes, he takes a sip and he goes, this is hot water. He goes, the person goes, oh yes, the cold is sitting down. It's at the bottom. So that's the kind of science we get from Islam, which is obviously clearly wrong.
You have to shake it a bit. Yes.
Yeah, but apparently the Quran says that there is an invisible barrier between them, so one doesn't transgress. Yeah,
there's no barrier. That's why it's invisible.
Yeah. All right. So, John, what have you got for us today? I mean, last time you shared some news stories and you sent me some this week's headlines.
Yes, I did.
Run them through.
Well, as you know, I do a global atheist news show every Saturday. So the last one went out last night. It's 8 o'clock on my channel, which is Free Thought Productions. I'd welcome everybody to watch it. And I compile over the course of the preceding week all of the news items that have some sort of religious impact on humanity. And there's been a lot in the last 7 days. Terrible, most of them. The Taliban are rampant in Afghanistan. In fact, since I compiled last night's show, 2 cities in Afghanistan have fallen to the Taliban. So I'll have to put those in next week's show. There's, I have to meet a deadline, obviously. An Indian girl was killed for wearing jeans.
Yeah, and we covered that story. That was a very horrible story. I think I covered that on my both on my English and Urdu channel last week. Here's that girl. Oh, sorry, where is it? We've got a lot of files. Okay, so
you'll pick it up in a minute. I'll go on while you're looking for it.
I got that. Here it is. So just wanna pay homage to that girl for her bravery, because she did everything she was told to.
Yes.
And she actually fasted, had a religious fast that day, and then later on she was killed for wearing jeans.
Yes.
By her grandfather, grandparents, uncles, and other distant close family members.
Yes. There's no freedom to wear what you like in Islam. Not at all.
No, but this girl was a Hindu though.
Oh, okay.
This girl was a Hindu, so she was killed by her Hindu family members.
Same difference, really. Yes. Disapproval of dress. Why should they have the authority to determine to dictate what we wear? It's ridiculous. So, but women in northern and central Afghanistan are taking matters into their own hands. They've been marching in the streets in hundreds and sharing pictures of themselves with assault rifles on social media in a show of defiance against the Taliban. This is good. Strong women. The Taliban won't like that.
Absolutely. There's always been a propaganda where people believe that if they are killed in a war by a woman, then they will not go to heaven. So that is the ultimate insult for them. Yes.
They're very strong on emasculation. They don't want to be emasculated.
Yeah.
Because they have a special role, and women are second-class citizens.
Mm.
Yeah. So other items in Bahong city in Pakistan. You might know this item too.
We're going to
Harris.
cover that in detail. We're going to cover that in detail.
Great. Okay, I'll let that go to you then. It's about a Ganesh temple that was attacked by the Barelvi extremists, I believe. Meanwhile, some of you may remember that almost 2 years ago, well, 18 months ago, Sudesh Aman was shot dead by surveillance police officers in Streatham High Road, South London, because he'd just stabbed a couple of people. And his inquest, because of course he was shot dead by the police, so we need an inquest to judge whether his killing was legal or not. And his inquest has just heard that he'd recently been released from jail, where he had served. He'd been jailed for 40 months on suspicion of terror offences, and he had served his sentence at Her Majesty's prison Belmarsh and had been released no more than 2 weeks before. While he was in prison, he'd signalled his intent to strike again once in the community. And police were so concerned that they asked Belmarsh prison governor not to release him. Unfortunately, their request was turned down because the offence that Aman was jailed for could not justify an extension of his sentence. But they searched his prison cell and found some handwritten notes that appeared to show loyalty to the Islamic State group. And he told another prisoner that he was not finished with these non-believers yet. After his release, he was required to live at a probation hostel in Streatham with a tag on his ankle and with a curfew determining where he should be at specific times of day. However, the police followed him whenever he left the hostel and were authorized to carry firearms, because normally police in this country don't carry firearms, and I'm pleased that they don't. But when he was seen looking at knives, they applied for authority to carry a firearm, and it was granted. And on the day of the attack, he made his way to Streatham High Road wearing a camouflage jacket, red hood, and a beanie hat, and was walking very slowly, being followed by the 4 officers, with more officers in vehicles around the corner. He entered a general store, which sold knives. He took a 20-centimeter knife and left the shop. He then stabbed a woman outside the White Lion pub, famous landmark in Streatham High Road, before stabbing a man outside Cash Converters, hitting him in the right side of his torso. One of the officers opened fire. They identified themselves as, because they were in plainclothes, but they identified themselves as armed police, so that he was aware that they were a threat to him, giving him a chance to surrender. He didn't, so they shot at him. And the first shot didn't seem to have an impact on him. It struck a shop window, which shattered and hit a woman standing nearby. However, they opened fire 5 more times, and he eventually fell to the ground. This was 62 seconds after he took the knife. I think that's fantastic police work. He was wearing a suicide vest, which turned out to be fake. So this inquest is now going on at the Royal Courts of Justice and is expected to last 3 weeks. Watch this space.
Right. Well, so he's been released now. Okay, this is obviously, I just don't get it, how it just works out. I mean, one case we see that in America, you can, there's 3-strike policy, and then even people are rotting away in prison for 30 plus years over minor crimes. But on the other hand, we have this other extreme where people can get out. I mean, Australia is very similar to that as well, in very lenient sentences, especially these kind of horrific and violent crimes. I just want to bring up something that we've spoken about this before, and I think we need to keep speaking about it. We know that the age of enlightenment 2.0, thanks to the power of social media and internet. Anyone can just go to the Islamic websites themselves, like Quran.com or Sunnah.com, Sunnah.com being the largest collection of Sunni hadiths, the sayings of the Prophet, and Quran.com, obviously a website run by Muslims themselves with various translations, etc. You can just look up certain verses. All you have to do, go have a look, 434, chapter 2, verse 226, chapter 6, 108, whatever. Whichever one you can just point out those certain verses. You can look it up and you're like, oh, I didn't know about that one. How do I tackle with this one? So traditionally, people have been deliberately twisting and turning the meanings of the verses. Have a look at this. This particular one, chapter 4, verse 34, the infamous wife-beating verse. It says, men are in charge of women. So remember this, yeah? Men are in charge of women. And now then it just goes blah, blah, blah. And then, as for those from whom you fear rebellion, admonish them and banish them to beds apart and scourge them or beat them. The Arabic word uses daraba, so that means beat them. So that is there's no disagreement, there's consensus in that. People are okay with the meaning of this, and they're like, oh, well, you might have heard the traditional apologetics that beat them gently, just symbolically, just with a feather or a toothbrush, all kind of ridiculous apologetics. But now, obviously, as they know, this is not working, especially with women and young people. It's not working for them. So what they've done is they have actually started changing the meaning in sheer and open display of deceit. Have a look at this one. It says, men are the support of women. So men are in charge of women. And I was going from men are the support of women. Okay, you'd be like, okay, all right, Harris, that's a traditional play of words. Have a look at it. As for women, you feel are averse. Right, so just, not rebellion or you fear disobedience, are averse. Okay, even then, let's go. Talk to them suasively, meaning persuade them. Like tell them, honey, you're wrong in this. Okay, if she still doesn't listen, as you know, there are three. This is a 3-step process. Admonish them, meaning don't talk to them, don't sleep with them, and then beat them. So it's a 3-step, 3-strike policy of America, right? It's very similar to America. Okay, so he goes, then leave them alone in bed without molesting them. Oh, okay, all right. Second step, go to bed with them when they are willing. So just do it when they're willing. And then where's the third step of scourge them, beat them? Where is it? That's gone. Full stop. If they open out to you, do not seek an excuse for blaming them. Where's the third step gone? The beating was. Where's that gone? It's just gone, vanished in the thin air. So that is the hypocrisy that they're using. And now that as a first step, they're doing that in English. Some people have said that in some hadith websites, they're taking away they're taking away the problematic hadiths. Also, some clerics have been caught on camera where they say, well, when you proselytize to women, Western women, white women, tell them about the good bits of Islam, about Islam is the most feminist religion. Islam gives most rights to women more than any other religion, blah, blah, blah. Don't tell them about the testimony being worth half of that of a man. Don't tell them that they get less inheritance as compared to the male counterparts. Don't tell them that men can have multiple wives and not vice versa. So it's all been caught on camera. I don't have the footage with me, but I have seen that. So these are the tactics these guys are employing now just to fool who? All these gullible people who are not very well versed on the Quran or the Islam or the Islamic theology. So, well, thanks to, again, social media, the time's up. They can't fool people anymore.
It's good, isn't it, that they're making it more moderate? That's an improvement. But was that the same hadith, just with different interpretations?
Which one?
Look, you showed the first one and the second one.
No, it's a Quranic verse. It's not a hadith.
Right. But
It's
it's
in the Quran.
one verse with two different interpretations.
It's not even an interpretation. They've actually taken out the part. Arabic is quite clear because they can't change the Arabic, right? As you know, they've always claimed that
it's supposed to be perfect and
literal.
unaltered. Yes.
And it's been like this from the day dot. That's what the claim is. So they can't change the Arabic.
No.
The Arabic here is quite clear. It says Jamavat darabahunna, which means beat them or scourge them or strike them. That is here, right there. It's right there, and it's quite clear in translation. All translations do that. But now in this one, he's just taken out the third step. He just listed 2 steps and he's taken out the third step.
So it's the same Arabic, but different English.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So it's not an interpretation. He's actually excluded the whole part, which which gives you a third step that you beat them if they don't listen to you.
Yes. So much for the immutable perfection of the Quran.
Yeah. Well, that's just.
But you also screened an example of a Muslim man berating his woman, didn't you, in your Twitter a couple of days ago? Or was it this morning?
No, it wasn't a Muslim man. It was a Hindu guy.
Was it? Oh, right.
It was a Hindu priest. Yes. So okay. So thanks for reminding me. So I wouldn't be able to show the whole video because it's just obviously it's showing violence towards women, and obviously we don't encourage that. I don't want to give any ideas. And here is another man of God exploiting his creation. This is a Hindu priest. And you can go to my Twitter. As I said, please follow me on Twitter. There I have a bit more liberty and I can discuss that. And you can see that this young Hindu lady is being not berated. He's pulling her hair, cursing her, and almost beating her. So now that we know that the point here is men of God, they always abuse their power. And they are men of something that doesn't even exist. So the whole clergy, priesthood, it is a redundant profession. It shouldn't even exist in the first place. So throw them out. And that's, violence against women. We need to make a joint stand against it.
Yes. I heard a very sad radio show when I was listening to BBC World News, not World News, World Service, in which a lot of women who found out belatedly their fathers had been a priest. And it was mostly women, actually. I think there were some men involved, but they were giving their stories of how it had been kept secret from them as they grew up under the care of their mother, who was receiving a bit of a backhander from the Roman Catholic Church. And these are the hidden children of the priesthood. Because, of course, priests have sex and they have children, but they mustn't tell. I don't think that's morally very good, do you?
Obviously not. Now, there's one more thing that now we're talking about the same issue. So someone sent us this Hindu scripture as well, which actually is a wife equivalent of wife beating verse. Now, some people are making the traditional apologetics and that's not what it meant. This is not what it meant, etc., etc. But okay, so they've deleted that. Okay, so I should have written it. It's Upanishad 647. Let me try to find that out if I can. There it is. If this one here, so in Quran it says that if you can, if you fear rebellion from your wives, then 3-step process, and they're changing the verses. Now here, this is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, chapter 6, verse 4, Shalok 4:7. If she's not willing, he should buy her over, and if she is unyielding, he should strike her with a stick or with the hand and proceed, uttering the following mantra: I take away your reputation, etc. She is then actually discredited. So this Upanishad is one of the Hindu scriptures, and obviously it says that you can, if she doesn't want to have sex with you, then this is what you can do. So religions, unfortunately, this is the reason why we speak against them. They are misogynist in nature. They're anti-human rights. They're anti-LGBTQ. They're anti-reason and rationality, and anti-science. So that's the reason why we speak about religions.
And the only reason that they've modified that Quranic verse is in order to try to retain control of their dwindling population, their dwindling flock. They still want to be in a position of control.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was the manipulation of the Quranic verses. Okay, let's get on. Okay, so Arjun saying, thank you very much for your super chat, saying that video need a whole show on it. I think it does, but unfortunately with YouTube, it's a bit more strict. So, we could get in trouble for doing that. Now, let's get on to some terrible news again from two sides of the border, India and Pakistan, as we just drew the comparison between Islamic scripture and the Hindu scripture, how they both demean women, and people are still so they have such an affinity to their religions that they just can't see it. They just say the same argument all across these denominations that, oh, it's a mistranslation. You don't understand the context. You know what? Under no context, a wife should be beaten or even threatened to be beaten. So this is terrible news. There was a 6-year-old girl was killed and raped and killed, and her body was dumped in a garbage disposal. And now the suspect confesses to killing a 6-year-old girl after rape in Karachi. The minor girl had gone missing from her house in Korangi Coast Park, Pakistan area on the night of July the 27th. Her body was found the next day from a garbage dump near her residence after a search lasting nearly 8 hours. So the suspect was interrogated, and his DNA samples were sent to a laboratory at the University of Karachi for forensic testing. His samples matched with samples obtained from the victim, the officer added. He said the suspect had also now confessed to the crime. What happened was this: two sisters, three daughters, three sisters aged between 2 to 9 years were sitting outside on a street near their home as electricity. There was a power blackout in the locality at around 10:15 on July 27. Sometime later, father returned home along with 2 of his daughters, while his third daughter, aged 6, remained outside to play with other children. At around 10:45, his elder daughter informed father that her younger sibling had not returned home. The next day, at around 5:45 a.m., he came to know that the body of the minor girl was lying in a garbage dump near the wall of a school in G area. So the reason I gave you the details, I just wanted to say that we have this, everyone, and I've seen that across all cultures, that people have this nostalgic feeling that, oh, back in our day, it used to be good. And I remember we had this rule, because I grew up in Pakistan. I was in Pakistan until I was 19. So throughout my childhood, our parents had this rule that you cannot be outside the house after dark, or after Maghrib, which would be, just when sun sets and just, there's a twilight time. So we were never allowed to be outside, even after the ages of 17, I think 16 or 17. Pretty much until I was in Pakistan, I was pretty much under the control of my parents, and we can't obey. The reason was they knew that this kind of exploitation, kidnapping happens. Despite of not having any wide coverage of these kind of abuses then. But people like to say that back in our day it was all good. We used to leave our doors open and doors unlocked and no one would come in, blah, blah, blah. But these kind of things have been happening forever. Now we're just highlighting them a bit more frequently. So my message to parents is, please don't think that your kids are safe. In Western countries now, kids are actually told from very young age that you're not going to take any candy from a stranger. You're not going to talk to a stranger. If even a guy like me, if I'm hovering around a playground or a school or something, people will suspect that there's something's wrong if I have no business there. And that's perfectly fine. With John, they might raise a few more eyebrows. These are stereotypes. But I'm okay with these stereotypes to make sure that our kids are safe. If I have no business there, I shouldn't be there. So parents in Pakistan and these countries, they need to be more careful. And India is not much different either. So there was another news story. A 9-year-old girl in India allegedly raped, murdered in Delhi, body forcibly cremated. Now, this is another horrible news story. So this little girl went to this temple to fetch some water. The child from an economically backward family lived with her parents in Purana Nangal in Delhi cantonment area. She had gone to the crematorium last evening to fetch drinking water from the cooler, but never returned. Around 6 p.m., some locals who knew the cremation ground priest, Radheshyam, called her mother to the crematorium and showed her the body. They said she got electrocuted while drinking water from the cooler. There were burn marks on the child's wrist and elbow. Her lips was also blue, her mother said. The priest and his companions then told the girl's mother not to inform the police. Filing of a case would mean post-mortem, where the child's organs will be stolen. They told her mother, suggesting that cremation must be held immediately. So they tried to frighten her into just burning her, as per the Hindu tradition, because if you send it to post-mortem, then her internal organs will be taken out, her body will be desecrated, etc., which is one of the big reasons that in these countries people actually don't inform a lot of these cases. So people say a lot of older parents are sometimes killed by the family members just so they can get their inheritance. And not every you don't have to get a death certificate from the hospital. Not everybody goes through the proper examination or in discovering the cause of death. That is quite a common practice, although it's changing a little bit. But anyway, apparently they prevailed. Locals speculate that the girl's parents were paid some money as incentive. But later the woman, mother and father, raised an alarm. Around 200 villagers of Old Nangal village gathered at the crematorium, and the police was informed. Now, case has been filed with charges under the stringent laws against child sex abuse and crimes against scheduled castes, and the priest has been arrested. So this is how I just want to emphasize on the fact again that please look after your parents, look after your children. Don't think that, you're surrounded by saints. There are opportunistic predators out there. Yes. And it's sad. We just spoke about the girl who wore jeans, and that's why she was killed by her own family members. And this girl just went to get some water, and she never returned. The 6-year-old girl as well, just playing outside her house, was she became a victim of some monster.
Yes, well, you're right. It's been going on since time immemorial, hasn't it? And like you, I was raised in a non-city, a part of the world where it was more rural and safer, to be honest. But police records show that even back then, there was the same level of raping and theft.
Kidnapping, murder, yeah.
Yeah, and the only difference now is that back then it didn't get big headlines in the newspapers. There was no gutter press. And the newspapers dealt with all the stodgy international wars, economy, and stuff like that, politics. But now the barons of the newspaper world, the media moguls, have worked out that they can sell a lot of copy if they make a sensational, salacious sort of headline. And that's why it seems that there's more of this going on. There isn't really. It's just more public.
Yeah. All right, so let's get on to the next story. So just let me clear this up because this is all full and awful. Now it's that time of the day when we pick apart the golden quotes of our dearly beloved, handsome Pakistan's Prime Minister, Imran Khan, who John Richards used to be a big fan of as well back in the day, like all of us.
Yes, indeed.
So he said...
Fantastic cricketer.
Yeah. women in Pakistan and other Muslim countries enjoy more respect and dignity than other Western world. These are the similar. That's the similar kind of rhetoric that these guys give it to their own crowd. But when they do this to the international media, then you're like, this guy maybe genuinely believes in this. So he's not just making a popular statement. He actually believes in that. So I thought that, okay, let's just talk about it. So there was this video. Let me play that to you. There is a wonderful NGO called WAR, which means War Against Rape. So yeah, that's just how it's, the abbreviation is very clever. So here is one of their representatives, did a detailed study, and she's sharing some statistics with us.
सबसे बदशक्ल बात है, ग्रुप है हमारा, एनजीओ होता था वॉर अगेंस्ट रेप, WAR, उन्होंने बताई स्टेटिस्टिक्स, और ये इशू जब टैकल करेंगे पाकिस्तान में, इससे आपकी एक रेवोल्यूशन भी आएगी, एवोल्यूशन भी आएगी, रेजिस्टेंस भी आएगी। गायनेकोलॉजिस्ट से पूछा जाता है, बच्चियों से पूछा जाता है कि रेप किसने किया, 82% परपेट्रेटर्स वालिद, चाचा, ताया, दादा, नाना, मामू, फूफा उसके बाद आते हैं ये लोग। भाई जब बच्चियां आती हैं गायनेकोलॉजिस्ट के पास, वालिदैन को लेके आती हैं, ये नहीं कि पुलिस लेके जाए थाने कि मेरी बच्ची का रेप हुआ है, कहती नहीं जी बात वालिद देखी है तो अब मैं अपने खावन को तो नहीं छोड़ सकती, तो क्या करती है वो उसके अबॉर्शन करा देती है और फिर कहती है जी मेरे वालिद है तो मेरा दुपट्टा नहीं उतारा। मैं इस पे 3 साल मैंने इस पे काम किया है और ये इतना बदशक्ल फैसेट है इस सोसाइटी का। मैं बार बार सोसाइटी की बात कर रही हूँ।
So sorry, it's in Urdu. I didn't get a chance to put some subtitles on it. So here, this lady was saying that rapes are never reported. We know that it's a fact because it's an issue of honor. But when a girl is raped, there's a higher percentage of them being taken to hospital. So when they go to gynecologists and they look at it and they usually ask them, so how did that happen? You're not married, you're a young child. She said 82% of those girls who went to gynecologists to seek treatment after being raped, 82% of them were fathers, brothers, uncles, and grandparents. 82% of them were close family members.
Yes.
Now, here it is, and I'll give you a bigger picture of our Prime Minister. So what he basically says, and that is just to propagate his religious dogma. He says, this is why the concept of Islam comes in. And Islam, the concept of parda, burqa, veil, is so you lower the temptation. You lower the temptation. That's his argument. So what happens is, anyone who's been to Pakistan, you would know that other than some posh areas, you would only see a sea of men. You could go weeks without seeing a woman. And if you do see a woman who is fully covered up like this, she would still get molested by some horny Turkey man. And this is exactly what's happening here. Or even if the girl, look at this guy. We're just checking out this girl. Like, what is he finding? But anyway, so what happens is, when you segregate men and women so much on a societal scale, the sexual frustration goes through the roof. So now these guys, these uncles and brothers and fathers, and these guys can't see they can't have interaction with opposite sex. It's a closed, pathetic society, really. So what they do, the sexual frustration goes through the roof, and then they do that. As I said, statistics, 82%. We'll include the link in the description with a detailed study. And just out of that, look what happened. Just yesterday or a couple of days ago, this news story came out. Let me open that up and let me read that to you. This is in flesh, basically. Accused father arrested for rape. For raping real daughter. Now, even they emphasize on the word real daughter because people live in a bubble. They're like, well, how is this possible? So here's this gentleman. Look at this guy. He raped his own daughter. The in-charge Cell City Division, Anam Rahmat, along with the police team, has arrested accused Muhammad Aslam, who had sexually assaulted his own daughter. DIG investigation, Sharik Jamal Khan issued orders to take action against criminals and especially those accused of abusing boys and girls in the city. So that is a result of you segregating. And now, what do you want to do? Even Islam actually says that there's a concept of mahram and non-mahram. Mahram means that your father, your brother, the close family members, you don't have to put a veil or burqa. You don't have to do anything in front of them, or husbands. And non-mahram meaning people who are not related, you need to wear a burqa, veil, however you interpret it. So now, what are you going to do there now to reduce the temptation? And it's not only just that. What about this? Have a look at this one. This man, a delivery guy, kind of like a Uber Eats Pakistani version, was so a man is arrested for raping food delivery boy in Islamabad. Now, your food delivery boys also have to wear burqas now, or they have to wear veils now. Police on Tuesday arrested a man accused of raping a delivery boy of an online food business after the Islamabad High Court dismissed his bail plea. Ibrahim Khan, a student of the Islamic University Islamabad, was taken into custody on the premises of the High Court after his pre-arrest bail was dismissed. The victim, who is also a student, was subjected to sexual abuse at the university's hostel. Mm-hmm. So this is what's happening in your country. And obviously there was another news story. Oh, I should have included that. 4 men. Let me see.
Well, while you're seeing, can I just mention that historically in the West, we used to have our equivalent of the burqa. We called it the chastity belt.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I've heard of this. Someone told me that. You should.
Yeah, you can see them in museums and castles. They are iron knickers with a padlock which prevents anybody from interfering with somebody's woman.
Wow.
Very primitive.
Wow. And so we're talking of sexual frustration. 5 men in Pakistan rape, kill a goat, trigger outrage amid backlash over Imran Khan's remarks. So there was a goat. She was raped by 5 men in Okara, Punjab city, and they killed a goat. 5 men. So I think goats should also wear a burqa now, Mr. Prime Minister. I mean, the point I want to make is that this is how it happens. More segregation you do. What do you? The only way to prevent rape by not increasing the sexual frustration would still be through the roof, or even worse, if you just separate men and women and just lock them in a 4x4 cell. That's it. They are never allowed to go out. They're never allowed to interact with anyone, whether they're fathers, brothers, uncles, whoever. No one. Just create a huge jail and put every person in there, and then someone comes from outside, a robot or something, and delivers them food and whatever. That's it. That's the only way, the direction in which they're headed. Or the other alternative is open up your society, end taboo as sex. Most of the rapes that we see in Western world, they happen out of the power dynamics, that people want to overpower women, etc. That's what happens in the Western world. In Pakistan, the concentration is far higher, and as I said, it just never reported. All of these women in that study, none of them went to the police.
No.
None of them. I don't know. I think it was like hundreds of women in the study.
Yeah.
None of them went to the police. So I am 100% certain that the percentage of rape in Pakistan and these closed societies is far higher than that in Western countries. And but in Western countries, the people who do that out of I don't think that would be out of frustration. It's just out of their psychological issues. But in Pakistan, normal people end up doing that because out of frustration. And on top of that, there's some obviously psychos as well. So that's why the percentage would be a lot higher.
Yeah. Well, when you separate the sexes, you're making the point that they are different, and that from then on you can treat them differently. And especially if you're allowing one sex out to have fun and the other sex has got to stay caged. That's horrible. The only way to overcome it, as you said, Harris, is to integrate people. Let them see that, we're all humans. Neither of us are aliens of any sort.
Exactly.
I've got daughters. I've had sons. They're all people, and I love them all.
Yeah. Right.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? How, going back to Imran Khan, people who want to retain control always put out the message of how benevolent they are. You know, Islam is feminism. The Democratic Republic of Congo, which is ruled by a dictator. You know, they always want the opposite, the cuddly side of what they are, you know. And for example, the USSR, which we had some years ago, they called it a republic. It wasn't a republic. It was a dictatorship.
Or the Democratic Republic of North Korea.
Exactly. Yes. They always like these nice words. And for example, going back to the point of religion, Islam calls itself the religion of peace. I don't think so.
Yeah. Calling Islam a religion of peace is like North Korea, Kim Jong-un calling his country Democratic Republic of North Korea.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's get on to the next news story. So we know that there's this feminist organization in Pakistan called Aurat March. So every year they hold out these marches, and that usually happens in the month of March. So there's been a wave of violent attacks on women in Pakistan. Quite recently, we covered the story of this young woman who was killed by her boyfriend, beheaded later on, caused some stir. Imran Khan also commented on that, and they made sure the guy was arrested. He was influential, but he got arrested, and his parents have been arrested as well for aiding and abetting the crime or trying to cover it up and remove the evidence. So women wanted to talk about this. This feminist organization wanted to hold a protest in the city of Faisalabad. So it got cancelled under pressure from the administration. The reason why which is, again, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, supposedly a democracy where you can hold protests, you can demonstrate, you can express your opinions, supposedly. But with this particular group, the whole country turns against them. So here, the Faisalabad, one of the largest cities of Punjab, Pakistan's largest province, their police commissioner said you cannot hold this demonstration. So, assistant commissioner, concerned, allegedly did not give them permission for holding a march. Now, what they wanted to do, Aurat March, to raise a voice against ongoing femicide and protest the brutal murders of women all over the country in the name of isolated incidents, as they like to say. Oh, these are just isolated incidents. Women said the objectives included an end to all gender-based violence, especially violence against women and other gender minorities by patriarchal institutions and forces. The 20 demands and objectives included protection of rights of women and trans persons, establishment of gender-based violence reporting cells led by women or trans police women, a toll-free hotline for reporting domestic violence cases, special centers for abuse victims, implementation of law. So all reasonable demands they had, but they weren't allowed. The reason why I wanted to point that out is there's a banned terrorist organization called Sipai Sahaba in Pakistan. So they're banned. They're not, and you know why they're banned? There's a joke in that. They just banned them to tell the international organizations like FATF or UN or US terror watchdogs to say, hey, look, we've banned them. You know, they're not operating. That's just an eyewash. That's just to shut them up. But they came out, held a press conference, and they said, no. They threatened these feminists. Members of a banned outfit, Sipai Sahaba, held a press conference to issue threats against the organizers of the Women's March, but no action was taken against them. And the assistant commissioner didn't do anything against them, and also instead told the women that if you came out, we will arrest you for provocation. So anyone who's watching this, any feminist organizations, trans LGBTQ organization, this is the reality. And this is a reason why I want to talk about these things in English as well, because in Urdu, I try to educate Pakistani audience, but in English, we need to educate the world so they can pressure this 50-50 kind of a democratic government in Pakistan, that they show one face to the world and quite another in practice.
Yep, hypocrisy again.
Yeah. Ashok Chaha, thank you very much for your super sticker. Thank you for your support, guys. And if you want to skip the queue, you're always welcome to become my patron and get the priority link. All right. Next one, I think we should move on to.
I've got some lighter ones that you might like to include.
Okay, sure.
Later on or now?
No, do it now. Do it now. Let's break it up.
Sure. Yeah, these are a bit more lighthearted. In the UK, a train conductor who celebrated the pub's reopening when we unlocked recently by declaring that he didn't want to live in a Muslim alcohol-free caliphate, and he got sacked for saying that. He succeeded in arguing that his opinion is the equivalent of a religious belief. Secular atheist Jeremy Sleeth was sacked for making the Facebook post in which he claimed Britain should not become like ISIS to beat COVID-19. He was a long-serving conductor on Midland Rail, and he was fired for gross misconduct. But he's 63 years old, and he describes himself as a secular pluralist atheist, and he alleged that he was discriminated against due to his firmly held convictions. So he is against one religion or one party states. He lives in one, of course. He believes all religions and none should exist in harmony, and he claims to be serious about his beliefs. So an employment judge who described him as a character has now ruled that his views amount to a religious or philosophical belief, and his allegation of discrimination can now be tested at a full tribunal. In the post that led to his dismissal on Facebook, I think, Mr. Sleeth said, "Thank F, our pubs are opening today. We cannot let our way of life become like some sort of Muslim alcohol-free caliphate just to beat COVID-19. We must button up, face it, stiff upper lip. If necessary, herd immunity it. But we must learn to live with it and not let our fantastic culture and way of life be trashed." So there was a complaint when he said that. And so he came back with, apparently, someone has complained about a comment I made about hoping UK never becomes an alcohol-free Muslim caliphate or Islamic State. Unbelievable, but true. If that's a controversial statement now, the world's gone mad. Incidentally, I wouldn't want UK to become any sort of religious or theocratic state, whether Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Jewish, Chinese, Politburo, or even Christian. So the West Midlands Trains had an investigation during which he said most Muslim states in the world are alcohol-free, for example, Dubai. I don't think it's slurring the Muslim religion. Not all Muslims don't drink. Some people might be Jewish by faith, but still eat bacon. So he went on to say that my ideal is a secular society where all religions can be together. And the employment judge ruled that the specific beliefs that Mr. Sleeth holds are philosophical beliefs protected by the Equality Act 2010. So he's deemed to have been holding a religion and had to have been victimized because of it. That's interesting, isn't it? So now secularism is a religion. Think what we can do with that.
Well, it's the same thing that they always say that, atheism is a religion as well. It's like one of the worst slurs that they can throw at us. It's literally like, I don't know who said it. It's like, I think Bill Maher said that saying atheism is religion is like saying abstinence is a sex position, or saying atheism is a religion is like saying baldness is a hairstyle.
Yes.
So, or saying stamp collecting is a hobby too.
Yes.
So that all these analogies are wonderful analogies, and they can just be shut down. These lame arguments these people present can be shot down in just single lines. So
but
anyway,
we now have a judge who says he agrees that the specific beliefs of this secular pluralist atheist are protected by the Equality Act.
Yeah. Okay, so I think now I want to. This is last week's news, but I think I spoke about it in my Urdu stream, but I think I just forgot in my English stream because it actually went. It was last week's English stream was probably the longest I've ever had. I think nearly went 5 hours, and John gave up.
Well,
he was like, "I'm hungry.
I missed my lunch."
Oh, okay. Well, that's what unfortunately happens sometimes in these long streams. So I just wanted to talk about that, how these people come after you when they just don't agree with you, and something like that. I've been doing this for about 4 years now, so your skin thickens up a little bit, so it doesn't really bother you. But sometimes I actually find it very amusing. So there's been online propaganda going on against me this time, but not Muslims, but by some Hindus. Have a look at this. This guy has been peddled by other big tweeters as well. Some social media celebrities as well have tweeted this. It goes, "Hey, Australian Federal Police, your citizen, the Sultan, is spreading hate speech against Hindus and Muslims and is giving life-threatening threats. He is an ex-Muslim and is spreading hate and sending nudes threatening people." so I'm apparently sending nudes, and maybe there's a huge weapon that I'm trying to send with it that is apparently threatening people. So the cheap, aside from jokes, but look how cheap their effort is. So this guy created a fake ID of me. He says, "I will deep fake your live stream." This is allegedly I'm doing it. "I will deep fake." What is it like deep fake? Okay. "I will deep fake your live stream and will bribe YouTube employees to suspend your channel. I will also divulge your home address so that they can kill you. Sent by Pakistani mullah." Then look at the intelligence of these people. It says Pakistani mullah posted 0 seconds ago. So whoever posted it took a screenshot. Literally, he was so excited, took a screenshot. So obviously, this is some that obviously gives it away. There's so many fake accounts. And anyway, but the effort they put into, and they believe that Australian Federal Police would be like, "All right, sir, you have told us from an anonymous account that this person is sending nudes and threatening people, spreading hate. All right, MI6. ASIO, CIA, FBI, where are you all? Let's go look for him. Interpol." That's the kind of mentality they have. You go, look at this one. Sultan, nobody cares. It's his news. He was sending news to girls, not his address. You morons are brainless. I don't even know. Australian government, kindly look at your citizen, the Sultan, who's spreading hate speech against Muslims and Hindus in the name of atheism. You will also be dumb. This is his real face. He sends nudes to minor girls. Oh, right. Okay. Shame on you, Deborah, for supporting this pedophile. Sultan, me too, pedophile, pervert. Shame on such upbringing, blah, blah, blah. Me too. Moreover, there's some funny comments too. Australian Federal Police, arrest this man, Sultan, for sending life-threatening threats to our people. So you might be thinking, "Oh, Harry, how did you get this sexy photo of yours? This is a very sexy photo, Harris." And I don't know that. So I actually posted this, and it's still up there. It's still on my Twitter. If you actually put Sultan, just put Sultan, I think it's one of the very popular tweets that I have. So there was this girl in Pakistan whose nude photos were leaked by her ex-boyfriend or something. And then, again, in the honor-based culture, she was a singer. She's basically publicly been dishonored. So to show support with her, we said there's nothing wrong if your chest is out. So so a lot of feminists and a lot of us modern thinking people and non-religious people, we were saying there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, to show solidarity, I'll take my top off as well. And this is a tweet I said, if a man can show his chest, why can't a woman do the same? And there's one part of my feminism, and I really like it, free the nipple brigade. I mean, free the nipple. There's nothing wrong with that. And why just the chest? Why not the genitals as well? This is just a little side joke. It obviously is up to people. If my penis wasn't so small, I would have included it in this pic too. Kidding. It wouldn't have fit in the frame. So again, that's just my sense of humor. So that's the photo that these guys are just using, and they're like, how is this sending this new? It's public photo. It's already still on my Twitter. Even though that woman actually sold us out, what she did, so to redeem herself, she said instead of going the other way, she went totally religious, and now she sings nasheeds, hymns to praise Allah, and she wears this hijab very tightly, and she's like, yep, I've become a Muslim again, and now people have stopped trolling her. So she threw us under the bus, but despite of that, and I thought about, okay, I should delete that. I don't want to throw my support for her. As you can see, the hashtag I am Rabi Pirzada, but obviously still it's there now, so I wouldn't delete it, so I can show it to people. This is not sending it to any news. This is my public tweet.
People might be relieved to know that I will not be bearing my hairy beer belly, my pasty hairy beer belly to all and sundry. I think that's a relief to our audience. But there was this comedian whose wife asked him, does my bum look big in this? And he said, if your wife ever says that to you, don't answer like this. Step back so that I can get it all in. And you saying you needed a wider angle lens for your genitals made me think of that.
Well, it just wouldn't fit in the screen. I think the screen is too small. Amit Tiwari, thank you very much for the super sticker. Okay, so let's get on to the next one, and I think this is very important. And before we go into that, I think this is something that you would enjoy. So what is your opinion on alternative medicine? There is this school of alternative medicine, it's a cult in India that's called Ayurveda. Kind of like acupuncture, but it's called Ayurveda.
Yes.
And a lot of Hindus, fundamentalists, they argue with us, fight with us, call us names just because we attack that practice of Ayurveda. The simple proposition is, and I think Richard Dawkins said it, and I quote, he said, any alternative medicine that can pass the double-blind test no longer remains alternative medicine. It becomes medicine.
Yes.
But Ayurveda, acupuncture, all of these remedies, they actually don't pass double-blind test.
No.
So why are people so content on using that? Why are they so hellbound to insist that it works and they want to use it? Obviously, there's cultural pride, there's religious dogma in that, there is obsession with ancestors. Our ancestors. So,
and there's availability, isn't there? They may not have access to Western medicine.
No, it's actually the other way around. So this is a news story that I want to share with you. Have a look at this. I said alternative medicine is a hoax. Ayurveda is just a collection of ancient, untested remedies similar to remedies other cultures came up with. Modern science offers real solutions to real diseases, but people are still being fooled by the likes of Ayurveda. Have a look at this one. Viagra, an anesthetic found in Ayurvedic potency pills. So all the guys out there, unfortunately, you think that this, you're going to do better next time, and you try these Ayurveda, not going to work.
You might be interested to know that here in the UK, we have recently decided not to fund homeopathy on the National Health.
Good. And that's how it should be. Yeah. So with this one, in Mumbai, the Aurangabad division of FDA, so this is the Federal Drug regulatory authority, I think, has found sildenafil citrate, commonly known as Viagra, and a short-acting anesthetic drug in 2 Ayurveda medicine meant to increase sexual desire and potency that was randomly tested for quality recently. The containers of both the Ayurvedic medicines didn't mention the allopathic components, sildenafil, and anesthetic drug. Am I pronouncing it right? Sildenafil? How it is pronounced? Anyway, giving rise to fear of serious health consequences in people.
Lignocaine hydrochloride.
Okay, well, yeah, whatever John said. Rise to fear of serious health consequences in people who might consume them unknowingly. Viagra in particular, which is given for erectile dysfunction, is supposed to be taken only when prescribed by a specialist, as it can react with other ongoing medications.
Yes,
so this, yeah, exactly. And a lot of people end up dying when they get too excited. When they get too excited,
it lowers the blood pressure in the rest of the body because it diverts it to the penis. So there's a complication here is that a lot of medicines have been discovered and originated in plants. So, there's a grain of truth. However, in order for them to be prescribed, they have to be on a list. And to get on that list, they have to be tested in 2 ways: for efficacy, to show that they work at what they're claiming to do, and for safety, so that, you don't take them when you might be vulnerable to some of their side effects, because all medicines have side effects. So bring us your Ayurvedic medicines, we'll put them through the test, and then it will adopt them as, what Richard Dawkins said, medicine.
Mainstream medicine, that's right. And this is a part, both Ayurvedic drugs had allopathic, and allopathic is another term invented by the inventor of homeopathy. So, I mean, have you ever heard the term allopathy anywhere?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I'd have to refresh my memory on what it means, though. You see, we're doing this unscripted, and off the top of our heads, we haven't researched any of the topics that might come up.
You're right. So my point was, actually, a lot of people, so you probably look it up, maybe that's why you found it, but most people don't know this, because there is no such thing as allopathy. We never see allopathy clinic written outside a normal clinic, GP's practice. It says allopathy. This term I only hear from Indians, and this term was borrowed by the inventor of homeopathy. So
it's the opposite. It's the opposite of homeopathy. Homeopathy attempts to treat conditions by giving them
water.
Medicine. Well, it's more complicated than that. Medicines, so-called, that mimic the symptoms. The thinking behind it is that the body hasn't recognized it's ill, so we want to give it some compound which exaggerates the actual symptoms so that the body says, oh, look, I'm ill, and then cures itself.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous concept, but that's homeopathy. It's called homeopathy because homo means the same, pathy means feeling. So they're giving a medicine which causes the very symptoms that the condition causes. Ridiculous, I know. Allopathy means treating somebody with a medicine which counteracts the symptoms that they have.
Right.
Against those symptoms. So, for example, if you have high blood pressure, they don't give you a medicine to tell the body its blood pressure is high. They give you a medicine to bring the blood pressure down.
Yeah, right.
I leave you to judge which is sensible.
And yeah, thanks for telling us. I didn't know any of that. The other part is, as you said, that it might be because of lack of availability to modern drugs. No, it's the other way around. As I said, these guys are mixing the normal medicine in the Ayurveda medicine and charging it an arm and a leg. So it says here, Ayurveda practitioners charge exorbitant sums for Ayurveda medicine that illegally contain sildenafil, however you pronounce it, which otherwise costs just 30 to 40 rupees, which is about $1, when sold as an allopathy drug. I have known cases where patients have paid 4,000 rupees, which is kind of like, what is it? I don't know, like $40, maybe. No, actually more. No, probably $50. Actually, I don't know. Some 1,000 times more, as you can see, 30 rupees to 4,000 rupees, said Dr. Rajan Bhosle. So this is obviously the doctor from FDA telling us about this. And the reason why I wanted to do this is an old news story. The reason why I wanted to do this is because some people say, well, so what? People drink cow urine. No, it's okay. Let them have Hajmola. Let them have the Ayurveda. No, these guys are scamming you. And it not only the fact that it's going to be bad for your wallet, but also for your health. They are giving you Viagra as some sort of an ancient herbal remedy that is going to get you Johnson up. That's why it's dangerous, and this is why we need to talk about it. We need to attack and ridicule and mock it. So yeah, I'm ready for your hate comments underneath.
Here's a thought: if cow urine was made more expensive, do you think more people would buy it and it would work better?
Yes, it is. Apparently, someone told me in India the bottled cow urine is actually more expensive than cow's milk.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's a saying, isn't there? A fool and his money are soon parted.
Well, maybe that's why some of these people who use it probably don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't tell my household this. I hope they don't see this video.
Oh yeah, let's hope so.
One member of my household drove 40 miles there. Well, 40 miles.
Drink cow urine?
No. 40 miles there to another city and 40 miles back to get some soap. Some sort of special soap. And I said, it's a pity there's nowhere nearer that sells soap.
Yeah, well, people, just... All right, so I think we should get on to our next story.
I've got a couple more lighter ones.
I reckon let's do your lighter ones, because I've got a couple of hard ones after this.
Okay, right. We'll lighten the mood a bit then. So you'll like this, because this is just a headline, really, because I had one of my correspondents. I have a number of people around the world who do video clips for me about news items of interest to my global atheist news audience. And they do it as a video or an audio for me, and I compile these contributions into my show. And so I'm only going to read you the headline of this, because this was done by our Kentucky correspondent as a video. And the headline is, in the Bible Belt of the USA, white evangelicals resist getting vaccinated the most. They don't like vaccines.
Evangelicals. Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're the ones that dislike vaccination most. So they are the ones who are going to suffer and sadly die most. But that's their choice. The other item is, Kent Hovind, who he's known as Dr. Dino because he's got this dinosaur museum or something, hasn't he? And you'll be interested to hear, has been arrested for assaulting his wife, or his ex-wife.
Oh, right. I used to hear about him. Right. Okay. Well, yeah. They either turn out to be wife bashers or gay. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Put a video on. I need to get some more water.
Okay.
Last time I left my seat to shut the door, you put my empty seat on screen.
Right. Okay. All right. I think. So, what video do I need to put up? Sorry.
I don't know. I thought you might have one.
Oh no. I've got my other stuff to go through. Okay. So you can go. And I'll cover the rest of it. So
I'll fill my glass.
Right. I think we should take a couple of phone calls. How about that? I reckon, because I've got a few more news stories to go through, and I want to go through them. So here's the link that I've just shared. And people are welcome to come and join. I see a guy called Farhan. I think he wants to join. So Farhan, I've shared the link. You're more than welcome to come. And Rational Muslim is saying, Harris is very consistent in not researching what he's talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, son. So why don't you come in and maybe educate me, enlighten me a little bit? So here's the link. So you're more than welcome to come. Nope, no takers, no takers. Farhan, come on, mate. Okay, somebody made a video on Harris. Somebody? I've got plenty of people making videos on me. I don't know what you're talking about. So it's no big deal. I don't even look at them. It's just a waste of my time, as I really don't see anything of value in that. All right, so no takers. Nobody wants to come. All right. Not that intimidating. John's got a softer face. You know, he's nice. He's polite. All right, so just want to talk about it, that there is an organized Hindutva movement, which is Hindu radicalization. We've seen that rise in the recent years in India, and now they're propagating on a scale that has never been seen before. Because if I go back to 90s or early noughts, we saw that obviously, like, there was only mainstream media, and though that mainstream media was not normally media has some sort of standards that they stick to, but now everyone can say anything they want, and some of the narratives that people peddle become very popular very quickly. So there's one channel that you guys know, and there's so many others, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. These guys got millions. Anyway, so this one, I just shared that. I wanted to share that with you. It says, India can't survive if the missionary religions like Christianity or Islam are allowed to cut it from the roots of Sanatana, meaning Hinduism. India without Sanatana Dharma, meaning Hinduism, is not India, which is exactly the same kind of narrative that Muslims peddle. They said, for example, in Pakistan and all other Muslim countries as well, they all say the same thing, that Pakistan, what's the point of creating Pakistan if it's not going to be Islamic Republic? If you wanted to be secular, well, we could have stayed with India, which is quite true. We should have stayed with India. But the reason why I wanted to share that with you is that there is no difference. Might be a little bit of few differences in the way they've been behaving historically versus now, but I've been saying it consistently for the last few years that the trajectory these radical Hindus are on is going the wrong way.
Yeah,
and they will match these. They are saying they want to match Muslims, or historically how Muslims have been. Some Muslims, obviously not all, when it comes to defending or propagating the religion, and that includes violence if the need may be. And this is what these guys are doing, and they're peddling the narrative over and over again that India is not India without Hinduism. And let me tell you, India is rising. India sent rovers to in space and to the moon. That is not because of your ancient Indic wisdom that your ancient Babas told you. That's because of modern science. That's because of people who have adopted. An Indian economy is going up and up. That's not because of Hinduism. That's because of Western modern global economic values that we've all learned. And same with China as well. China is not China, well, they followed this hybrid version of communism, whatever that is, but also that's also a Western concept, by the way. They're not there because of Confucius. Confucius didn't say anything about modern science, or he didn't say anything about modern economy. These are ancient people, ancient wisdom. Leave them there. Yes, so India is rising not because of your freaking mumbo jumbo written in your ancient text. No. So India is not. India will be India. India will be stronger and bigger and better India without Sanatana Dharma.
Absolutely. And if we ever solve the problem of climate change, it will be solved by the scientists, not by those who pray. I had a chat with Lawrence Krauss, physicist, cosmologist, physicist. You think he was trained as a particle physicist, but he's moved on. And he's just brought a book out, which is The Physics of Climate Change, which is, it's very interesting because it's not all doom and gloom. You know, there are things that we can do, but they are scientific things, not theistic things.
Right.
That video I can show that video on my channel. I don't think I've uploaded it yet, but it's just a 17-minute chat that I had with him yesterday.
Right. Okay. Well, you can check out John's channel, Free Thought Productions. Please subscribe and do check out more on that. Right. Okay. So now I want to get your thoughts on this, John, because we all remember how bad it was when England lost the Euros. We saw there this atrocious behavior by certain people of the society, where certain black players were they faced this racist outburst from certain people.
It was disgraceful.
On large scale, it was condemned. People across the British media, all denominations, all types of demographics, they condemned it, which is a good sign. Now, something very similar happened in India just recently. But as I've always said, in these Western countries, racism has been a problem, not casteism. But in India, it's casteism. And sorry, by the way, I obviously made that video on that as well, Euro Cup final and the ugly side of English hooliganism. More than welcome to go check it out.
You know, one of the reasons why I don't like football is not because of the game, it's because of the supporters.
Yeah.
I don't follow a team. I'll only watch matches where England has a chance to win, But
right.
I'm ashamed of the sort of person who goes to football matches. It's just me.
Right. So now team lost at Tokyo Olympics because it had too many Dalits. Now, Dalits are historically lower caste, as they like to call them. Upper caste men abuse hockey player Vandana Kataria's family, netizens enraged. So again, good point. The only good thing to take away from this is that the larger Indian society condemned that, and they called for arrest of these few individuals who brought it up. So there is a video that just came out. I think I'll just share that video in response to that. This lady spoke about it, and I think it'd be atrocious if I don't talk about it. Sorry, I thought I had it downloaded.
Didn't we talk last week about this Radio 4 Thought for Today lady who...
Sorry, for who?
We had this Radio 4 Thought for Today lady.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That was from the English perspective, but now we have it from the Indian perspective. So this is the captain of the Indian hockey team. And by the way, well done, girls. You did really well.
Yes.
I think you won bronze, or maybe came fourth, either one of the two. And your country should be proud of you for your accomplishments, and well done. So here this lady is saying something.
बहुत सैक्रिफाइस करते हैं, बहुत स्ट्रगल फेस करते हैं अपनी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए. एंड जब हम अपनी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं एंड वी सी बैक कि हमारी फैमिली के साथ क्या हो रहा है, वन ऑफ द एग्जांपल की वंदना की फैमिली के साथ जो हुआ, आई जस्ट वांट टू से टू पीपल कि आप प्लीज ये सब चीजें बंद कीजिए, रिलीजियस कास्टिज्म ये सब, बिकॉज हम इन सब चीजों से ऊपर उठ के काम करते हैं. हम डिफरेंट रिलीजन से आते हैं, कुछ हिंदू हैं, मुस्लिम है, सिख हैं, एंड डिफरेंट पार्ट से आते हैं इंडिया के. कोई नॉर्थ से है, कोई साउथ से है, कोई ईस्ट से. बट हम यहाँ पे जब आते हैं तो हमें सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक ही चीज दिखती है जिसके लिए हम काम करते हैं, एंड दैट इज इंडिया. उस फ्लैग के लिए हम हमेशा काम करते हैं.
So basically, she said that we come from all types of religions, different parts of India, and as you know, India is diverse and huge. But we only have one goal, and that is to play for India and win for India. And these ladies did fairly well. Said that I think they won the bronze. Did they win the bronze?
No, I've got the result here. We beat India. Great Britain beat India in the semi-final, and we took the bronze, and you came fourth.
Okay, so not me. I'm
India.
not India. Yeah, India came fourth. Okay, that's fine. Well, nevertheless, well done, ladies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here the captain was saying that after all of that, we have to experience the kind of abuse that the family of this hockey player had to face is not on. And the reason why we have to talk about this is no matter how small of a segment of the society is like that, we always have to condemn that. So nobody dares to do it. By the way, do you remember what happened to that guy who actually went viral? His tweet went viral in England. Who he belonged to some he was a director in some real estate agency, Seville,
Yes.
and he was sacked.
Yes.
Police spoke to him as well, and then he came out and said, "Well, my account was hacked." So I don't know what happened after that.
No, he tried to wheedle out of it. There was another one who came up and said sorry. There were two of them. Or am I mixing it up with another case? I may be. But in any case, I want to, since we're talking about the Olympics, I want to include a little bit from Bishop Robert Barron in the USA, right, who watched the Olympics opening ceremony. I don't know whether you're ready for this now, but
let's do it.
I will report it then. Okay. So the Olympics opening ceremony, as you may remember, nearly 2 weeks ago now, featured John Lennon's Imagine. It was sung by a large children's choir, and a number of celebrities were videoed into the show. It was a great opening ceremony. So Bishop Robert Barron doesn't like Imagine. He doesn't like the words of it. He claims to be a fan of the Beatles and John Lennon in particular, but it pains me to say this, he says, while the melody and arrangement are indeed beautiful, the lyrics are an invitation to moral and political chaos. There's a video of him pronouncing this pulpit-like delivery on Patreon. We can link to that in the bottom of this this video.
Right. Now, so are you done with this one?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I was just going to say that there's no hell below us, no heaven above us, and all that nonsense. He doesn't like that, of course. That's the words.
Right. Okay. So let's take one of the callers. Rakesh, what would you like to say? I haven't seen you for a while. I think I blocked you from quite a few platforms because of your crap. But anyway, let's see if you've changed a little bit. What would you like to say? Do you want to say something, Rakesh? Okay, maybe you don't. So maybe I think I have to kick you out of here as well.
Imagine there's no heaven, above us only sky, yes, and no hell below us. He doesn't like that, Bishop Robert Barron.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's very beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. So it's one of the most poetic things. That's what makes it so famous. Every enlightened artist talks about it and say how good that song is.
We love the song.
Yeah. Let me see. So, is there anyone else who would like to come and join? Okay, if not, then I want to get on to the main story, which is absolutely atrocious. So, I think you would have seen that in. Okay, let's start again. You might have seen that in the news. I think it hit global news everywhere. Just a few days ago, I think 4 days ago, on 4th of August, a violent mob, ransacked a Hindu temple in Pakistan. You can see that there were literally hundreds of men who were rampaging through this temple, and they just ransacked it and destroyed it. The accusation was that there was a Hindu boy who went there, and the cleric was so nasty to him that he apparently pissed himself. That was just a little child, and that they didn't do anything to the boy at that point. but then the rumors started circulating in the village that a Hindu boy has deliberately he's peed on the mosque premises just to insult the feelings. And all of a sudden, within hours, this is what happened. And not only just that, sorry, give me a moment. Well, I don't know why it does that. Within hours, when the news broke out that this is what's happening in Rahimya Khan Bago village, that's the one you were talking about.
The kind of thing.
You can see the whole village was emptied. All of the Hindus in that village, they left that the neighborhood. They put locks on their doors, they locked their houses, and they just fled. They were so scared that they will be hunted down. And this has happened in the past before. The entire villages of people have been destroyed. I think last year I shared a video which came out of Bangladesh where this sorry, what's going on? I don't know why this doesn't work. I hate this. So in Bangladesh, I shared this video, I think last year or maybe early this year, where this whole village was attacked by thousands of Muslim youth or Muslim men. They were just ransacking, destroying their houses. So it has happened, and this is why they were so scared that they actually fled the village and they left it. Now, how frequent is this? So there is this Pakistani Hindu activist, well respected, said that how many temples have been attacked in 2020, 2021? Ganesh Temple, Bong, that happened on 4th of August. I just showed you the footage. 100-year-old historic temple, Rawalpindi, Punjab, on 28th of March, 2021. So just this year, earlier this year. And another one, Temple Karak in KPK on 30th of December. That happened as well. I've got a footage of that, and I made a video of that as well, so you could see that. And Rani Temple on 24th of October 2020, Shri Ramdev Temple 10th of October 2020, Hanuman Temple 17th of August 2020, under construction Krishna Temple Islamabad 4th of July 2020, Mata Rani Temple on 26th of January 2020. So 8 temples have been destroyed in the last 20 months alone, or you could probably say 18 months alone. So how frequently? And that is not to include all the churches and Ahmadi mosques. And I have covered quite a lot of them. If you get a chance, you could go through my playlist, both in English and if you understand Urdu as well, called Minorities of Pakistan. So that is how minorities live. Just one little incident and a whole village gone.
Yeah.
Temple gone. But how is it? This is the founder of Pakistan to say, you are free to go to your temples, you are free to go to your mosques or to any other place or worship in the state of Pakistan. You may belong to any religion or caste or creed. That has nothing to do with the business of the state. And he didn't devise the name Islamic Republic of Pakistan. That was done later on. So there is a debate on that, behind the motive or intentions of that statement. Again, the whole creation of Pakistan was so contradictory that it just doesn't make any sense. If you wanted to be a secular country, why separate from India? Maybe that guy,
exactly,
his country is responsible for that, as a lot of people, a lot of historians agree with that. But despite of the fact, the other side of the argument is that, well, under secular India, Muslims or Jinnah did not believe that they would be able to live under Hindu rule because they didn't believe that India would be a secular country. So that's why we need to create our own secular country, but then which will be founded on Islamic principles. So that's just a contradiction. So that's why the foundations of Pakistan are so shaky. It just doesn't make any sense. And that's the reason why 74 years has been 74 years in August. 14th of August coming up. It'll be 74th birthday of Pakistan in 7 days time.
I'd like to plead innocence here because I was a child. I had no influence on the policy.
Well, you messed it up. Well, anyway, your ancestors messed it up for all of us. So anyway,
and not just there, not just in the Raj either, in the Middle East as well.
Yes, everywhere. The sun didn't set, and then eventually when it set, it the world was a very different place. But speaking of Islamic propaganda and the confused nature of Pakistani politicians, establishment, and down to the very single child, there's one Quranic verse that has been circulating because obviously people are enraged and they're like, whoa, what's going on? We were told Islam is the most peaceful religion. Why do some of our people do these kind of things? So there's a Quranic verse that's circulating. It says, chapter 6, verse 108, O believers, do not insult what they invoke beside Allah, or they will insult Allah spitefully out of ignorance. So people are saying here, they've been quoting the first part, O believers, do not insult what they invoke beside Allah. So basically, do not insult those who don't believe in Allah. And saying our Quran says that don't insult other people's religion, so why are we destroying their temples? But what they don't do is the part that I underline, not because it's a wrong thing to do, that you shouldn't insult other people's faith. It's because they will insult your Allah in retaliation. Here's the commentary on that, one of the most respected Ibn Kathir commentary. He said, Allah prohibits his messenger and the believers from insulting false deities of the idolaters, although there is a clear benefit in doing so. Insulting their deities will lead to a bigger evil than its benefit, for the idolaters might retaliate by insulting the God of the believers. Muslims used to insult the idols of the disbelievers, and the disbelievers would retaliate by insulting Allah wrongfully without knowledge, as Hindus also tell us that. So the point is, don't insult, because they will insult you, and poor Allah can't handle some criticism and insults.
Yeah.
That is the reason, not because it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. He's such a snowflake, isn't he, Allah? And he needs men to defend him. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But I liked that Twitter poster because his handle is Kapil Dev.
Yeah, the Indian cricketer.
Yeah, he was a great cricketer. And to make some pathetic claim of not all bad, I'd like to point out that cricket has been a force for unification in the world.
Yeah, well, we no, that didn't work out for us either. we hate each other more on the cricket day. So.
Yeah, but we know it's only sport. We know
we don't.
Oh.
We don't.
Okay.
We don't. Okay.
Well,
so anyway, so our Imran Khan's infamous tweet is always going to be slapped across his face. So my message to extremists abroad who indulge in Islamophobia and racist slurs to hurt and cause pain to 1.3 billion Muslims across the globe. We Muslims have the greatest love and respect for our Prophet, peace be upon him, who lives in our hearts. We cannot tolerate any such disrespect and abuse. So that's what he infamously said. But now what he's doing, it is hurting him. I know when it happened, as I said, there was a video went viral, 30th of December, not so long ago. Have a look at this, if you can see. So here, I don't know why I even try this StreamYard video share just doesn't work. So anyway, so here you can see this temple was demolished by these hundreds of people in Karak on 30th of December 2020, last year. So these people were arrested. Imran Khan, according to my sources, was in a cabinet meeting at that time, and then he heard that within the meeting, and he said, arrest these people because I tell everyone that, look, Islam is a religion of peace, and I lecture the world on Islamophobia, but look what's happening under my nose. So they arrested, I think, something like 150 people within that day. But instead of punishing them, they said that they went to the local Hindus and they forgave them, and nothing happened. And this is exactly what's going to happen now as well. So my point was, unless you start punishing these people, these kind of things are going to keep happening. So coming back to the Islamic theology, what Islam says, well, we all know Prophet Muhammad invaded when he entered Mecca. There were 360 idols around the Kaaba. He started stabbing the idols with a stick he had in his hand and reciting like a crazy man, truth, Islam has come and falsehood has vanished. This is Sahih Bukhari 2478. So then Muslims say, well, it was just, it was Mecca. Mecca was an exception because it was the heart of Islam. We had to clear the idols. My point is, what these guys are doing, demolishing idols, that's what your Prophet did. This is a direct teaching of Prophet Muhammad, and there's not a single verse in the Quran that you would find, do not destroy other people's idols outside of Arabia. No, you wouldn't find it. You would not find any such hadith either saying of the Prophet. But what did Muhammad do outside of Mecca? Here's the one, Sahih al-Bukhari 3823. There was a house called Dhul Khalasa in the pre-Islamic period, and it was called Al-Kaaba of Yemen. So this guy Jarir bin Abdullah is saying, Allah's messenger said to me, will you relieve me from Dhul Khalasa? Why, man? I would have been like, excuse me, Prophet, why do you want to be relieved of these people? They haven't said anything or done to you. But anyway, those guys were mindless followers like Jarir bin Abdullah. He said, so I left for it with 150 cavalrymen from the tribe of Ahmas, and then we destroyed it and killed whoever we found there. That's a religion of peace, isn't it? Then we came to the Prophet and informed him about it. He invoked good upon us and upon the tribe of Ahmas. These are the teachings of your peaceful Prophet. He told people, go and destroy their places of worship and kill everyone. And they did it. And they said, well done, boys. Well done. Good one. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. So these are the teachings of Islam. So my question to Muslims is, why are you shocked when you see these kind of atrocities? You shouldn't be shocked. This happened for real. You want to say something to it?
Well, not directly to that, but certainly I want to draw attention to the fact that about 18 months ago, I debated a Muslim, Imran Hussain, at Manchester University, and the topic was life is absurd without God. And you can see this. It was well videoed by the Islamic Research and Education Institution or Association or Society. I can't remember. But they invited me and put me up. I had a little hotel room and I was fed and watered and driven about, So I was treated like a very humane way. So it was a very enjoyable event. And you can go to that on my Free Thought publications. There it is. Yeah. Well spotted.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, go check it out. 95,000 views. And I remember one of the points from there was where you guys locked horns about the importance of testimony.
Yes.
And I think I tweeted that little clip, and I think it was very well received by other people. All right. So let's take a caller. Yes. What would you like to say?
Hey, Harris. Hey, John.
Hi.
Nice to talk to you both. Harris, if you might remember, you took me last week on your Urdu stream as well.
Right. Yes. What would you like to say?
Yeah, it's just something that went across my eyes today while I was going through a sort of a deep dive on Wikipedia and some other related Islamic pages about the rise of apostate prophets in the last years of Hazrat Muhammad. It's just something which we are never taught in all throughout the Islamic books. I mean, I guess purposefully. It's the principles and teachings taught by those apostate prophets or false prophets, as in quotations, as the Islamic histories claim. It's just, I guess, lucky that directly on Wikipedia, I found that Musalma, who was one of the leading false prophets,
Musalma Kazab, and then he caused the
apostasy. He was called Kazab because he was apparently called a liar. Muhammad actually received a letter from him during his lifetime while he claimed to prophethood himself, actually during the life of Muhammad. And he addressed Muhammad as if you could open up on Wikipedia, I think it might.
You should have given me the link, mate. You should have. There's a private chat. You've been sitting there, so you could have sent me all these links that you wanted.
One second. I'm on my phone, so it'd be difficult for me to,
Okay. Well, maybe we can talk about it some other time then. I need to.
Yeah.
I need to move.
So
on.
just trust me on this, I guess. I'll quote it from memory. He said, "From a prophet to a prophet." He addressed the letter as from a prophet to a prophet. So he recognized Muhammad's prophethood in his letter. He said that God has given me half of the share of, God's creation. So let there be peace in the land, and I would be willing to allow you, as you are righteous in your message and stuff, and you should do the same. And Muhammad directly in his reply said, "Oh, you are a great liar, and there will be no peace from our side, and God will decide who is righteous or not." And apparently, like, while Muslims claim Islam is the religion of peace and such, shouldn't Muhammad have invited the guy for a debate to even, actually give him a chance to give him a fair chance for discourse and, discussion, and make him believe through logic and argument? I mean, how does anyone even try to claim that Islam is peaceful?
Okay, I got your point. So, look, I agree with you. Should have, in any civilized world, it would have been like, okay. But the whole claim of Islam is just absurd. It's like, well, let's just send in the cavalry and let's see who wins, and whoever, may God be on the side of whoever is the winner. So this is one of the biggest turning points. So those of you who don't know, Musalama the Kazzab, what they like to call him Kazzab, the liar, he, as soon as when Muhammad was preaching Islam, this guy also appeared at the same time. And he was challenging, he was also claiming to be prophet. And then when Muhammad died, it turned into these apostasy wars. A lot of people went to his side as well. And it could have swayed either way. The historians put it down to the brilliance of Khalid bin Walid, the sword of Allah, that if it wasn't for him or his military genius, who knows? Musalama, we all might have been trying to dismiss Musalama instead of Muhammad right now. So, all of that is just, if you look at it, it's very interesting. It's all made up, and it's just these little coincidences that we experienced that happened hundreds of years ago. And as a result, now we just live by them, and all these people, all these mindless idiots, they just argue and fight with us over these accidents of history.
Yeah, but Rakesh is right. He probably wasn't introduced to that early on in his life, because these clergy always cherry pick the best bits from their scriptures, and they don't tell you. In fact, they rather hope that the size of the scripture and the boring nature of it means that you won't actually read the thing and find out all the bad bits.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. That was a very good point. I'm going to wrap it up. Sorry.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Now let's take another call from Vishnu. Vishnu the God. What would you like to say?
Hi, Harris. I've been seeing your podcast for a while now. And initially, I think you had this discussion regarding the Ayurveda and acupuncture, right? So
Right.
as far as I see that most people are influenced by results. I mean, if acupuncture or Ayurveda can get you cured, they will go there also.
Sorry, say it again. What was that?
Most people are influenced by results. If you're getting cured from acupuncture or Ayurveda, they will go there. And I've seen in my personal case and my friend's case also, my shoulder injury which I went to an allopathic doctor. He used some sort of electroshock therapy to try to reset it, but unfortunately it did not work. And then I went for the traditional oil massage healing, which was propagated by Ayurveda, and that apparently worked. And a similar thing with regards to acupuncture in my brother's case. So he suffers from asthma. So generally in the night when he's not able to breathe properly, what my mother does is she figured out some points in his body where if she presses that, he'll be able to breathe better. So there are some benefits to different alternative medicines also. But the thing is, there are also a lot of quack healers and all these voodoo doctors that way there. They're in a lot of places, especially in places like India and all. Once you go to the rural areas, there are a huge number.
All right,
of
we
these
got your
things.
point. Let's see, John, what John has to say on this.
And you know how you tell the quacks from the genuine article? Because what you have told us there, I've lost your name.
Vishnu.
Vishnu, what? Yeah, the god. Yes, what you have told us there are called anecdotes, and I'm pleased that you got the results that you wanted and that the treatment was successful. But that's one individual, and we can't tell from that whether or not you would have got better anyway, because the human body has a remarkable capacity for healing. So what we have to do is conduct an investigation with a large sample size. And only then can we work out whether it was the medicine or not. And not only that, but the people who are receiving the treatment mustn't know whether they're getting the real treatment or some placebo, some sugar pill. Neither must the supervisors, the experimenters who are conducting the experiment, because if they know, they will bias the results because they want to get a particular outcome. So this is called a double-blind test, and it has to be of a significant sample size. That's how we determine which medicines are good. That means they work and are safe, and which are not.
Just want to say, add on to it. So some things are actually not really black and white either, because we get these chiropractic and chiropractitioners and obviously physiotherapists as well, and sports physios and all that. There's study in that, but the results are not always black and white. But they work, and there's a consensus on that too.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to the actual medicine, there's no better way to see than the double-blind test. I mean, all these, let's say, Ayurveda pills that they give you, how come they randomly work on people who had the normal treatment, nothing worked out, and then they went to get these herbs or whatever, and then it worked, and then you go like, aha, it worked because of that. But whenever we test them in a proper setting, like a double-blind test, they never do. Why is it? Why is it that for your anecdotal experience it worked, but it doesn't work when people actually test it for a large, as John said, with a larger sample size? So, again, sorry, go on.
I have to just interrupt over here. Has any test?
Yeah, sorry. Say, John, what were you saying?
You're right, because it's not black and white. There is a confusing factor in this, which is the effectiveness of the placebo effect, because, as I said, humans get better anyway from most conditions. And if you give them some appearance that you are treating them, they probably will get better quicker. So we know, for example, that sugar pills do work on a small sample size, a small proportion of the population. And we also know that bigger sugar pills work better than smaller ones, and that injections work better still. They're better than pills because it seems like a more significant intervention. So I must get well. That's the area where we don't understand. Somehow or other, the brain is helping the body to recover.
Right.
The placebo effect is, it's not yet proven, right? But it is an effect.
Yes, it is. Yes, indeed. We're still investigating that. We can't understand it.
We can't understand how it works, but we understand it does work.
Yeah.
Is it right to say it's like a miracle of the human body or human mind?
If you like. I don't like the word miracle, but if you like, yes.
You can consider it as a coincidence, or you can consider it as a miracle. It's like you can go either way.
No, there is a reason. There's a reason behind it. There's a rationale behind it. We just don't know. For example, certain pills alter your consciousness. We know they do. We just don't know how they do it. So that we know dark matter exists. We just don't know what it is. So there are a lot of things that need further investigation, and probably science will work it out one day.
Actually, on dark
I
matter.
think the placebo effect is more because of your mind. If your mind is strong, if you believe that you will come out of it, and automatically,
yes,
it happens that way.
Yeah. So you could think that, okay, my shoulder is healing, and getting massages help. And there is reasonable amount of science behind that as well. There's no denial in that. I've had physiotherapy done on my ankle after rolling it, and then tendons were fixed by the physiotherapist. So those kind of things work. So again, calling that, when we talk about Ayurveda, we're talking about the actual pills that are sold to you, that this is going to cure this or that. And the Ayurvedic people claim that they will cure cancer for you with yoga or something, or they will even
That's
give you
mostly
pills.
hoax, because in the villages,
yeah.
what I've seen is that these guys are selling a lot of random stuff from
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking
random
about.
animal stuff. They'll just sell it off.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. So this is what we're attacking. But anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, thanks.
I might have spoken about this last week. It's all a blur to me. I can't remember. But we had a case in the UK when the city of Bath, because you visited there recently, didn't you, Harris?
Yeah, I did. Beautiful city. Lovely.
Lovely city with Roman and more recent architecture. Fabulous. But the churches got together and came out on the streets giving out leaflets that claimed if people attended their services, then they would get whatever condition they suffered from healed. It was called Healing on the Streets, HOTS for short, HOTS. And and one of the people who they gave a leaflet to turned out to be a serious skeptic. He belonged to a skeptic society, and he complained to the Advertisement Standards Authority. We have one of those in the UK. And they decided that these people should be banned from giving out these leaflets because they offered unrealistic hope. Because you can't pray away every condition. That doesn't work. In fact, prayer has been tested and shown to fail.
Yes, and in fact, people who knew that they were being prayed for got even further sick because they were under the pressure that I have to get better now. That's written in, I think God Delusion discussed that.
Yes.
Experiment. It was done at Harvard, I think it was. Anyway, all right. So let's take another call, and then I'm gonna have a couple of more news stories to discuss. Unfortunately, that's sad.
I'm coming up to the time when my stomach thinks my throat's been cut.
Right. So just take this last call, and then you're free to go after that.
I'll give you one comedy item at the end.
Okay, Warren, what would you like to say?
So hello, Harris, and hello to the gentleman. I do not know his name, sir, but I wanted to. I was looking for it. India has the most number of universities in the world, and it has around 4,000 universities. Out of 4,000 universities, there are around 240 universities dedicated to Ayurveda and all. So if you are denying Ayurveda, sorry?
How many?
240. Oh,
wow. So we can throw those away.
Yeah. So all I'm trying to ask is, so are you guys trying to say that the intellectual, Indians investing in the 240 universities for Ayurveda, are they like intellectually inferior to the intellect of people who say that Ayurveda has nothing to do with the life science or something like that?
I wouldn't say intellectually inferior, because we know that there are people who are traditionalists, people who are religionists. They demonstrate remarkable intelligence in other fields of life as well. So I wouldn't call them they're intellectually inferior, but I would say that they're definitely wrong in this one. There's Panchgava, I think, which was recently sanctioned by Modi government as well. What are those Panchgava things
that
are?
I think it's something made from cow dung.
Yeah, cow dung, cow butter, milk, urine, and something else. So there's 5 things. So you have to understand one thing, and this requires a lot of humility and understanding. It requires a lot of humility. Anyone can talk good about himself or his tribe or his country. When the world recognizes that, that's when you go, aha, maybe we've done something. This is the whole notion behind Olympics as well. Come on, man, let me finish my point. You have to understand that tell me, outside of India, 214 universities, how many other universities in the world are doing research?
I just sent you a link from John Hopkins. It's a good prestigious university in America, and it says some of the states in America have started. First, it says not a lot of research has been done, but now these days, some states are allowing some Ayurvedic universities to be installed in USA. And here, John Hopkins is a good reputed.
Listen. Okay. Listen. So in these Western countries, acupuncture, homeopathy, all of these quackeries are also allowed. They cannot take that away from you. There is a scientific, has any university given any peer-reviewed paper and said that this particular treatment has been discovered by the Ayurvedic scientist? Is there any such example?
That I do not know.
No, let me tell you why you do not know. Because it doesn't exist. This is what you're telling me, that Ayurveda, John Hopkins has written an article that Ayurveda, a natural system of medicine, originated in India more than 3,000 years ago. The term Ayurveda derived from Sanskrit word Ayur, life, Veda, knowledge. Thus, Ayurveda translates to knowledge of life based on the idea that disease is due to an imbalance or stress in a person's consciousness. Oh my goodness. So disease is an imbalance or stress in a person's consciousness. So if I'm a little bit drugged up, or if I got cancer, then it's probably because my consciousness has got some sort of a stress imbalance. Ayurveda encourages, this is just as bad as homeopathy. I actually didn't know that. This is the main logic behind that. Ayurveda encourages certain lifestyle interventions and natural therapies. Natural therapies. Like I wake up every day and an apple a day keeps a doctor away, right? That kind of thing. Huh?
And clean your tongue. You wake up every day and clean your tongue.
Yeah, right. Okay. Clean your tongue. Big deal. So, I mean, Muhammad used to brush his teeth as well. So, I mean, people have always known.
The age of tongue cleaner is just 500 years old.
People have noticed that they have bad breath and they want to do something about it. There's nothing special about that, wanting to clean your tongue or wanting to brush your teeth. There's nothing special about that. But what is special about wanting to clean your tongue? What is so special about that?
All I'm trying to say is that the cleaning the tongue is a part of an Ayurvedic morning culture.
So what's so special about that? Let me ask you again. What is so special about that?
Nothing is nothing special.
Nothing special about it. Exactly. There is nothing. Exactly. There's nothing special about that. My point to you is, when people, and I shared that news story with you, that they're putting allopathy medicine, real medicine, in Ayurveda pills and trying to solve problems and making fool of people. Why do you? And again, I'll go back to the point when you try to interject me. When the world recognizes this, that's when it will be okay. These scientists, Ayurveda scientists, have done something. How many universities? 4,000 universities. You said 200 other. How many other universities are teaching you normal biology, normal medicine, normal doctors that are producing that, are making great names? The Indian doctors are making great names for themselves in all over the world. And tell me how many of them are have come out of this Ayurveda research, or those ones? How many?
Well, sir, if you look at the Patanjali or I'm not here to defend Ayurveda. I'm here just to let you know, just to say that there are some features, some things which we wake up in the morning, and for example, the moment we wake up, we stretch. That's an Ayurvedic practice we do.
Everyone stretches. A dog wakes up and stretches, and the cat wakes up and stretches. It's a natural reaction. Don't take any ownership over that.
My friend,
can I come in here?
This was the Europeans when they were trying to figure out, when they were trying to locate India. Then they figured out some of the things that we do in everyday practice, and then it came into the European world and the Western world, or the white people.
So did cats copy it from you guys?
Some of the things.
Cats and dogs.
Cats.
Lions.
Cats. Oh,
cats.
Billy.
Yeah, animal. They stretch when they wake up.
Yeah. So does
us. Oh, they copied from Ayurveda. Right, okay.
Or Ayurveda copied from animals. We don't have
It's not Ayurveda. What I'm trying to tell you, it's a natural phenomenon. Everyone does it. Again, my question is, what is so special about it? I will say, well done, Ayurveda scientists and doctors, when they give me a cure for blood pressure or malaria or cancer. I'd be like, okay, well done. 240 universities where Indian taxpayer money is being wasted on. I would say, thank you. Maybe you didn't waste that much money.
I'm entirely comfortable with the John Hopkins University investigating Ayurvedic medicine. That's the way to do it. But the principle on which it is based is very dubious. Stressful in consciousness? I don't know what that means.
Stress imbalance in person's consciousness.
Yes. Well,
that causes disease.
That's a very flaky principle, I think. It's like homeopathy, which is based on two fallacious ideas. One is that you can cure somebody by giving him effectively the symptoms of the disease. And the other one is, which contradicts the first one, the second one is diluting something makes it stronger.
Right. So this is Varun, and just trying to tell you again, is that there's a general principle at play here that if you claim something, it should be tested.
Yes.
Anything that, look at Einstein, whatever he predicted, whatever theories he presented, Indian scientists, Chinese scientists, they can all test and verify it.
Yes.
How come we have these Ayurveda claims? Look, there's nothing wrong in fact that you're saying that, okay, so ancient Ayurveda's also discovered, waking up, stretching is amazing. Yoga is great. It's great. We get that. But yoga is not an equivalent of getting...
Yoga is a part of Ayurveda. It's
yeah, that's fine. Yoga is fine. The world recognizes yoga. Yoga is good. But then we get another extension of people who say yoga cures cancer.
No.
This... Yeah, of course. So my point is, if you, the whole purpose of this is, if you get some sort of a disease, go to your normal doctor. Don't go to Ayurveda. Don't get some herbal medicines from him and say, oh, the guy wouldn't even know what's happening inside of a body. Okay. So anyway, I think we've spoken.
There are a lot of people in India who have hair loss problems. Normal allopathy are not solving that problems. Most of the time they go towards homeopathy. Their problem is, though it's not solved, but at least they, they have this satisfaction that, okay, I have tried everything.
Screw that. Well, so false satisfaction is just as bad as the actual problem. So screw that false satisfaction. If Ayurveda or they're not. If they were having good results, it would have been published and people would have recognized it. Yes. And alternative medicine, whether Ayurveda, homeopathy, or whatever, if it passes the test,
yes,
then it becomes medicine.
Yes.
Then it becomes allopathy. Yes. So, it doesn't pass any test. So please submit your results where a bald man has had some Ayurveda treatment and voila, he's got this beautiful hair like me. Show those results. I don't think it's going to happen. So anyway, I think we've got to wrap it up. Thank you, Varun.
I'd be very happy for allopathic medicine to be proven to work.
Oh, you mean Ayurveda? Ayurvedic.
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
So Chava Guy is saying, why should Hindus seek approval of the West for Ayurveda? If you believe it, use it. Trying to impress others, show their influence. No, that's a very pathetic comment because it's not about getting their validation. It's about getting their recognition. The reason why you need recognition is because this is how the world works. I can say, well, I've invented a flying carpet. I'm not going to show it to the world, but I'm just going to sell it to people as a flying carpet. Okay, let me test your flying carpet. Oh, sorry. No, I don't need your validation. I don't have inferiority complex that I want it to be tested by others. No, you need a recognition. You would get a Nobel Prize as well if you come up with, whoever comes up with, some groundbreaking result in that. So Chava Guy, I didn't actually expect that from you, but that's pretty sad. 0 Hindu countries, 180 plus Christian and Muslim countries. Evolution is eliminating Hinduism. It's obvious it's neither smart nor brutal to survive. I don't know. I get it. 0 Hindu countries, 180 plus Christian and Muslim countries. Okay. Evolution is eliminating Hinduism. Is it? I don't know. I think evolution, if you're talking about social evolution, then I think that's eliminating Hindus, Christians, Muslims, everyone, the religion aspect of it. It's obvious it's neither smart nor brutal to survive. Okay, I think that's last point from them. Okay, so sorry, John, what have you got for us?
You want my last comedy contribution, do you?
Sure.
Coming up. This is from a campaigning group. It's a spoof article. It's from a campaigning group that call themselves Say No to Atheism. If you Google this, you might find the picture that goes with it. And they are setting up a global prayer to end atheism.
Yes.
and I've got a picture here. That it's
I've
just
got a picture too. I've got a picture here too. I actually wanted to talk about it, but then I think for some reason I don't know why I didn't talk about it. So yeah, this is funny. I actually spoke about it in my Urdu stream. Here it is.
That's
global prayer to end atheism. Saying Ayurveda works and we don't want it to be tested is like saying prayers work and we don't want it to be tested. And this is exactly the last resort. Global prayer to end atheism is an online event. 1.4K people are going or interested in going, including Kevin, Jason, and 7 others, and so many others.
It's this Thursday, so
maybe we should go. Maybe we should go because like I'll just for the solidarity, I'll say, you know what, atheism is horrible. I will pray to God. Maybe God doesn't listen to your prayers. He might listen to my prayer because I'm being genuinely saying that okay, if God exists, show us by killing atheism or killing rational and reasonable people. So that is so desperate. And do you take them as? Oh, you said it's a spoof, is it?
It's a spoof, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. I actually took but they
are taking the urine. Maybe it's cows.
Oh, naughty man! You're also having some digs of cow urine now. All right, I think.
See what I did there?
Yeah, so it's a disclaimer. It's a spoof. Okay, we're just having a fun at it. Okay. All right. I think I will. If you want to go, I can let you go because I've still got a couple of news stories to go through.
Okay.
And if you want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay. These are very grim.
I've got so many other meetings today.
Okay. All right.
We're through until about 9 o'clock this evening, so I'm going to go and get fed.
Okay, John. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Ciao. All right. That was John. Guys, please subscribe to his channel, Free Thought Production. Okay. So I spoke about the temple incident, and that's just one aspect of the misery minorities experience in Pakistan. There's quite far more sinister misery that they're living under, and I've spoken about it numerous times. I have shared you can go to my playlist, minorities in Pakistan, on my English channel and also in my Urdu channels. I think there are well over 100 cases now covered, and this is one such day. While we saw the destruction of a Hindu temple over the accusation that a Hindu boy peed in a temple, as a result, these angry men just barged into this temple and they just destroyed the temple. That is one aspect of it. Pakistanis were outraged over that. Another Hindu girl called Lakshmi Magavar, abducted from Bihar colony Kotri, Sindh, and forcefully converted, then married to Ghulam Hussain Machi. She's just 17 years old. Government didn't allow minors to cast vote in this nation, but they can be married. And this is a reason why this guy recently said Religious Affairs Ministry opposes restricting religious conversion before the ages of 18. The reason why they do it so they can keep abducting girls like these and keep converting them to Islam and keep marrying them to Muslim men. This is officially being done in Pakistan. By the way, and this is not it. There was another girl, Shabana Magavar. This time, this happened in Mirpur in Sindh. Muhammad Sarfraz and others entered late night in the house of a Hindu guy, Roshan Magavar, and abducted his 15-year-old daughter, Shabana. They are sitting outside police station Gortlal Bakhsh Mirpur, and they are complaining about that. I've shared that before. I will share that again. Let me get the video. So here's the video. Have a look at this. What is happening? And this is quite a common occurrence. So here you can see that this guy is a cleric known for converting Hindu girls to Islam, and this is his father, and he's crying outside the police station, demanding justice, asking for his daughter to be returned. This is quite a regular occurrence. These Hindu girls under 18, and this is his mother, are picked up, abducted, converted to Islam in a ceremony like the one that showed before, and that's it. End of story. This is why there's a debate started that conversion and marriage, there already is a law that you cannot marry a girl under 18. But because Islam allows that, and we all know Prophet Muhammad married a 9-year-old girl when he was 52. So nobody says anything about that, despite it being against Pakistan's penal code. So they thought, okay, let's work around it. And we say, well, you cannot convert someone under the age of 18. But the religious ministry says that, well, Ali converted to Islam when he was just a boy. So therefore, girls, Hindu girls, Christian girls, if they convert to at the age of 14, 15, whatever, that's perfectly fine. We can convert them. And this and a Hindu human rights activist in Pakistan made a very good tweet, and he said, I always find it strange that 35, 40-year-old Hindu women don't find wisdom in Islam, and they don't end up converting to Islam. Why? Because nobody's interested in marrying them. This is the reason why they keep kidnapping these little girls and keep marrying them. As I said, it's not a unique event. And there was another video that I shared quite some time ago, where another girl, her name was Kavita Bai, she was abducted and converted to Islam in a ceremony like this. Here's that same, I think it's the same guy, Miami too, and that's the Hindu girl. Look at it, surrounded by all these men. She was abducted. She was under, I think she was 14 or 15 as well. There's a detailed video on that. That I've got it there, and these guys are filming it proudly, and she converts to Islam, and then later on married to a Muslim man, her Prince Charming. But that doesn't just, it's not just limited to Sindh, to Hindu girls either. Another girl, this is a Christian girl. This girl is 14 years old. Yes, it's been verified. Don't worry about the makeup. I think the makeup makes her look older, but she is 14 according to the government records, as confirmed. So HRFP, which is a human rights foundation of Pakistan, condemned the abduction, forced conversion, forced marriage of this girl, Chashman Kanwal. Human rights focus group, Pakistan, condemned the abduction, forced conversion, and forced marriage of juvenile Christian girl Chashman Kanwal, who's 14 years old, and she's a daughter of Gulzar Masih, resident of blah, blah, blah. Chashman Kanwal was kidnapped on 27th of July around 8 a.m. when her father, Gulzar, dropped her at a government high school. On the same night, Gulzar Masih gave an application to the concerned police station, Faisalabad, that his daughter is missing. First information report, which is FIR, meaning it has been registered with the police, number 62221, on 28th of July. But later on 29th of July, police told her father that Chashman has now embraced Islam. Police gave the documents to her family with a content at letterhead of religious Islamic group Pakistan Sunni Tehreek, located in Johor Town, blah, 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 mentioning that Chashman has converted to Islam and got married to Muhammad Usman. How convenient. Her age is mentioned as 19 on the marriage certificate, as in such cases, the abductors with religious supporters try to make the victim look older than their actual age. And there's precedence in Naveed Walter, also who's a human rights focus group activist, said the cases have been brought through courts, and the court usually ignores government data, NADRA, which keeps the record of people's births, marriages, and everything, and deaths, prefer the Islamic ideology about their maturity. So they don't even trust the government database, NADRA, which is a computerized database introduced nearly 20 years ago by Dictator General Pervez Musharraf. And it's a very reliable data. And especially in this century, people who are born in this century, it just goes through them and it keeps all the data. But these courts don't take the official data And then they say, okay, if you say that she's 19, I'll take it. If she just writes it down on a newspaper or on an affidavit. So that is the nature of minorities. As I said, 3 girls in this week abducted, converted to Islam. Same story. And the religious ministry and the government of Pakistan is held hostage to these guys with beards, and nothing happens. Still no law has been introduced. 3 times it's been attempted but failed, and this is a 4th attempt. I would hope that it would eventually be passed, but until then, these kind of atrocities will keep happening. Okay, let's just take a call from the true Indian. What would you like to say? You're on mute. What would you like to say?
Yeah, Harris, just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute.
Just sharing the link with other people. If anyone who wants to come, you're more than welcome to come and join, ask any question. There were a few Muslim guys here. They were saying that I don't know anything, but I'll share the link then as well. But they don't like to come. They don't like to talk when given an opportunity. Can anyone jump on the call? Shahid Ali, yes, you can. I just shared the link. Jump.
Hello. Hello, Harris.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes. What would you
Am I
like to say?
audible? Yeah, mate. How are you doing?
Good. What would you like to say?
Hello, mate.
What would you like to say? I don't think you can hear me. I think there's some sort of a problem there. You were working fine. I don't know. Anyway, anyone would like to come? 73 people watching this across different platforms. Kamal, yes. What would you like to say?
Hello.
Yes. What would you like to say?
Hi, Galib. How are you? Oh, sorry.
I'm
Hi,
not
Haris.
Khalid. Yeah.
Haris. So, I want to ask you why this forced conversion happens in Sindh only, and why not other provinces of Pakistan?
It happened here. It happens in Punjab as well with Christian girls. In Sindh, it happens with Hindu girls. In Punjab, it happens with Pakistan. Go to my playlist, Minorities in Pakistan. You'll see dozens of these cases in the last 2 years alone.
So you said once that you want a Hindu that has been persecuted in your. You want to have a communication with them.
A Hindu. Oh yeah, I might have said it. Yeah, like I mean, I would like to hear people to call and share their experiences, especially from the Pakistani minority community.
So what if they have migrated to India? Is that okay?
Well, no. There was a case that we reported that there was a Hindu family that migrated to Pakistan, and I think 10 of them ended up dying. One of the relatives who had stayed behind in Pakistan, she accused them that her family, when they went to India, the police had killed them, or there was some sort, they were being asked to go back to Pakistan and spy on Pakistan or something like that. So these are just accusations from both sides. I don't know. But no, why should they go to India? They should be recognized as equal citizens, and they should get equal rights and security to their lives and livelihoods in their own country, which is Pakistan.
So there are some organizations in India. Can I name it?
Sure.
Okay, so there is a person named Dr. Umendra Ratnu, who is a right-wing activist, and he's trying to bring all these persecuted people to India, especially from Sindh. And he's trying to propagate that they are not safe there, and we are trying to help them and bring them to India and trying to give them citizenship in India. So what do you think? Is that okay, or
well, I think from the other person's point of view, I would say that's a good, well, if there's a political agenda behind it, I would say that's a good, well-meaning effort, but it's not realistic. How many can you take? There are nearly 4 million, or I think at least, I think 4 million, close to 4 million Hindus in Pakistan. How are you going to take them all? That's just and that would be a very sad. Actually, that would be a slap on the face of Pakistan for doing that. So I think Pakistan itself wouldn't allow that either. But I would say that from political point of view and from a humanitarian point of view, it's I would take it on face value that they are doing that because they feel for their suffering, and there's no denying there is suffering. But there are activists, Hindu activists in Pakistan, who say that we don't want to go to India. We want to. We want to fight for our rights in Pakistan, and I am hopeful that eventually, with social media, this is another thing, that this law will eventually it would eventually pass. It would eventually go through the Senate.
Yes, there are people. I have met some of them, and there are people. They find it very difficult to leave their native place and they sell their properties and business and whatever the stuff they do. They are very upset with the fact that they have to leave their motherland. So I have a suggestion for you. Why don't you make a video in their native language and send them a message, whatever you want to say that.
Well, I don't know Sindhi, unfortunately, but I would have thought that my Urdu videos, my Urdu videos, I think some Sindhis might be able to understand Urdu as well. But these people are from such a community that a lot of these people, I speak with some Hindu activists as well, background, but they don't even want to be associated with me publicly in that regard, because obviously, that would endanger them even more. So, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would just hope that I can inspire some other Sindhis to come forward and start talking about it. You see, the things that people like me do, the far bigger objective is to inspire other people to do similar things. And that's not something that's a far-fetched or very idealistic idea, because, as I said, I was the first person to start talking in Urdu about religion, about these issues so boldly. But now there are, across both in India and Pakistan, there are 10, 15 plus channels, and some of their people have never even heard of me, or they even hate me. But so that's how I see that there will be more human rights activists who would be able to talk openly about it, and they will that would probably impact more. For example, ex-Muslim women. I'll just give you an example. So there's some ex-Muslim women are coming out as well, and they're talking about that too, despite the fact, and now they will connect with other women, despite the fact that they might have had some sort of an inspiration from people like me, not just me, from people like me, but they are now able to communicate with their audience far better than I could do. And just like I was inspired by someone like Richard Dawkins or these new atheists. So that's just how it works. I mean, I can't speak in Sindhi. I don't know if someone wants to put some subtitles on underneath it, then share it with them.
So I can help you in that because I speak Sindhi.
Okay, well, maybe send me an email. Send me an email and we'll go from there. Okay? Anything else you want to say?
No, nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamal. Thank you for coming. I'm going to try the True Indian again. Hope his audio is better. Please don't say, am I audible? Just start talking normally, and if you're not audible, I would say I can't hear you.
Hello, mate.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Good. What would you like to say?
Mate, I've been waiting for so many months to talk to you, Wow. You have been such an inspiration for me for more than a year.
Brother, I'm not that hard to I'm not that hard to get a hold of.
You have such a huge crowd in India. I was extremely surprised to see that even some people in my close friend circle, they follow you or they subscribe to your channel. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought that nobody knows about Hari Sultan, but I live in Delhi, so in Delhi only there are like a couple of thousands of people following you. Yeah, you're a new rock star in the social world of India, man. Congratulations, first of all, for that.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
So, mate, my question to you is that, see, we live in India, and India and Pakistan, we are basically same. The only difference is the religion. Habits are entire thing, and the mindset is same. So, do you think that in coming centuries or decades, there will be some sort of reunification between India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, or do you see some sort of better relations going up there to a height that there won't be any visa requirement going from one side of border to other side of border?
I think the closest thing I've spoken about this before. I think the closest thing that is likely to happen is kind of like a European Union kind of a union between countries like Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh and SAARC nations as they are, and that is probably the most default position that should be there. I mean, when you're in Europe, for example, now post-Brexit as well, when you're in Europe, you actually don't think that you are in different countries. You can see, even though their languages change, their culture changes, their architecture of the building changes, but you can go from France to Germany without, nobody would even ask you anything. Well, these days, because of COVID, they would, but that's between provinces as well, everywhere in other countries as well. But post-COVID, you can just go through. I remember last time when I entered Europe, I didn't even show anyone my passport anyway. I was just going from train to train, plane to plane, another city, another country. Nothing mattered. So that is something that's most likely to happen. But having said that, we're not going to be able to achieve that as long as there are these political disputes. And these political disputes are far more difficult to overcome than anything else. So I don't think that these political disputes can go away with someone showing a bigger heart, because that's not how it works. I think the only difference is, I think the people hearts and minds have to change, and that could only happen over a generation. So we need to see, and this is why I've said it before, for Kashmir issue to be resolved, Islam has to go. That's the only part that tells Kashmiris, or if there are, we don't even know the actual number, because to be honest, there's been no there's been no proper neutral study done, or survey done that we can actually trust, that how many Kashmiris want to be part of India or not. But let's just say there are more people who want to separate from India. But why do they want to separate from India? That's
Absolutely.
a genuine question. Why would they want to separate from India? I mean, if in Kashmir these kind of things were happening that we're seeing in Sindh with the Hindu minority, you could make a case. Everything else that happens is an issue of crushing separatism, and the central argument for separatism is that we're Muslims and we want to be separate. So why do they want to be separate? So there's not a good leg to stand on. This is like a mini Pakistan movement, like as there was a Pakistan movement before 1947. So Pakistan was created on the basis of religion, and Kashmir wants to be created on the basis of religion. So religion has to go. That's the only solution. And once that's gone, once Pakistani people are secularized, Kashmir is no longer an issue, then I think we would have some sort of a
prosperous
European
subcontinent.
Yeah.
Prosperous subcontinent, and one more thing, Haris, is that I have seen like number of Pakistani politicians and celebrities, they always deny their Indian roots or like Indian culture. Even Pakistani also, they perform certain rituals that we, even in India, Hindus, they also follow that rituals, but they always tend to divert themselves. They always tend to say that the Arabs are our two ancestors. Sometimes they even tend to consider Turkey as their forefather. I find it pretty weird. Why is it so? Even from an intellectual person like Imran Khan, who has been inspiration for not only in Pakistani but also for the Indians, how talented he is, and he used to love India a lot, and I have seen his got a lot of press conferences with Kapil Dev and a lot on some of the Indian channels. He always used to hang out with Bollywood celebrities. He had a very friendly relation with all the top-notch Indian people. But why?
You have to hear. Okay, I got the point. So Imran Khan is obviously a politician and prime minister now. So he believes in, obviously, nationalism, and all these politicians promote nationalistic narrative. I don't think he hates India. I think that's a very bad accusation, and this is what Indians have to mature up as well. And we've seen that from a lot of people. Forget about your far right wing crazy Tunnis nutbags. I'm talking about mainstream Indians, people who have strong belief in secular principles. You have to understand one thing: Imran Khan is a prime minister, and at the core of it, he has to protect the Pakistani identity, which doesn't exist, unfortunately. He still says that we are Indians. In the past, he's said it before, that we are Indians. When we go overseas, people realize they're Indians. So what they talk about Turkish and Saudi Arabian, and we make fun of that too. What they actually trying to say, so let's steelman their position, not strawman them. They're actually saying that we are Muslim. The identity they're focusing on is the Muslim identity, which is separate from mainstream Indian Hindu identity. That's what they're focusing on, which is somewhat, it makes sense, but this is why we say Islam has to go, Muslim identity has to go, and we just have to be the people of the land or whatever we are. I don't even care about these identity, these labels like, oh, you know, we with this or with that, because that's a very arbitrary line. We all came from Middle East into India, and before that we all came from Africa. So where do we stop the line, or where do we start from? So none of that matters to me. So Imran Khan, to say that he hates India, I don't think he does. He has a country to run, and he wants to keep the Muslim identity strong, and that's where obviously he's wrong. And wherever the differences are, and he wants to peddle the Kashmir narrative as a Pakistani.
Who's the bigger victim? Who's the bigger culprit, Imran Khan or Pakistan Army? Be honest.
Oh, of course, there's been a. Of course, so it's not just the army part. The army is the bigger culprit there, but every country has some certain ideological standpoints that stay over generations, and Kashmir is one particular issue. So even before army became big in Pakistani politics, let's just go back to the founding father Jinnah. Even at that point, Jinnah gave the statement. There was no military that was controlling Jinnah at that time. It was the direction Pakistan was set on at that time. They talked about Kashmir is a part of Pakistan, and Jinnah ordered armies in Pakistan, in Kashmir at that time. So there were loose militias. So it's a narrative that they've held. So the blame doesn't necessarily entirely lies on one person. And Imran Khan is just one person, and he'll be gone in 2 years' time. So I gotta wrap it up. Thank you.
Sure. One second.
I gotta wrap it up. I gotta wrap it up next time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, let's take Satish. Hello, sir. What would you like to say?
Sir, namaste.
Namaste, sir. What would you like to say? Yes, sir. What would you like to say?
Sir, I've been following your stand for more than a year now.
Right.
And I find it very, very interesting, though. And especially the take on Ayurveda right now.
Right.
That was quite interesting. But so what I'm saying is that Ayurveda is a science actually.
Yeah, it's a science that nobody else outside of India recognizes. That's the problem.
That's the problem. And you know, there are even
why is that?
Doctors
why do you think that's a problem? Why do you think that's a problem that the rest of the world just?
I'll tell you very frankly. Very frankly, because India is a Hindu country, and Ayurveda is basically Hindu science.
No, but there is no science that is Hindu or Chinese or Indian. Science is science everywhere.
No, I don't say that. But those outsiders, people outside this country, they think that the Ayurveda is basically Hindu in origin. It's their perception. So they don't want to have Ayurveda.
No, but there are Indians, very smart Indians who are all over the world. Why do you think that no Indian has ever submitted his journal? You can actually, from an Indian university, you can submit a journal to an international scientific journal and you can get it peer reviewed. Why do you think that hasn't happened yet?
I wouldn't know much about that though. Because there are Ayurvedic institutions operating in Western countries also.
No, but there are homeopathy and acupuncture is operating as well, because those are regarded as therapies. So they can't therapeutic services. So they can't really take that away because there's just comes under civil liberties. But the point is, nowhere it is recognized as an actual science or an actual solution to problems. Nowhere. No government would endorse it, and we just heard today that the British government used to actually publicly fund homeopathy, but they've taken that away as well because it's quackery. So whether it's acupuncture or that is Ayurveda or that is homeopathy, they never passed any tests. and this is the reason why
that
they
is
never
because
recognize.
that is because they look through their own perception. No? They have their own perception of what are called native scientists.
What is a perception? What is a perception? The perception is there's a
perception is
test.
that-
But
yeah.
hang on, sir. There is a process. This is called a test. You know, like you and I go to an exam. You could be very smart. I could be very smart. I could say, well, my perception is that night is green, not black. And this is my perception. We can argue about that all day long. And this is what perception and this word salad does. But for any exam to pass, we have to sit in an exam. That's called a process of testing. That's exactly the process of testing in medicine as well. There's a double-blind test where the people are tested by giving inert pills and people given actual pills, and they see the result, whether they work or not. And people don't know which one has got what. So even the person who's invented the medicine doesn't know who's got it. So then they test it. This is called a double-blind test. It's like doing an exam. Why that double-blind test? Why nobody, no Ayurveda medicine has ever passed double-blind test?
Then you see, Ayurvedic medicine, I mean, people are getting cured of several ailments by Ayurvedic medicine.
No, it's not. So it's false. It's false because, as I said, you can test. There's double-blind test. So you have to understand this concept. There's a thing called double-blind test. If people are being cured by Ayurveda, then we can do the same experiment. We can do the same test in America or in England, and we can say, "Whoa, it works." It doesn't work because there's so many things that are at play. Sometimes body heals. Sometimes the treatment that most of these people have been getting through normal medicine. Sometimes it happens that worked out. There's so many things at play. Just the only solution to that is passing the double-blind test. There is no double-blind test that's ever passed Ayurveda medicine because, again, whether you discover something in India or in China, if it passes the test, then it becomes mainstream medicine. What about the COVID vaccine that Indian scientists made? It's a vaccine, it works, and it's called vaccine, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Which Ayurveda came up with that? So why did the world not say, well, this is a Hindu vaccine, so we're not going to use that? No,
because this is based on the allopathic system. The vaccine is based on the allopathic system.
Because that is the only. It's not allopathy. There's no allopathy thing. This is the name that's given by a homeopathy quack. There is only one medicine that if it passes the test, it works. Now, this is the same thing that people say, well, you're judging our religion by a scientific worldview. Well, scientific worldview is the only worldview that actually gets us closer to the truth. Everything else you want to say, the perspective is different. Well, yes, perspective could be different. Your perspective could be you want to put a blindfold around your eye and then you want to see the reality. That's your perspective. So that's not how it works. So sorry, sir. One thing I'll tell you, double-blind test. That's it. This is the only way to test a medicine if it works.
Or maybe when you come to India, you can check it over. Anytime when you come to India.
I can go to some Ayurveda clinic here and I can see the quackery.
No, sir. If you can come to India, I can show you some places where they treat so well. I tell you.
Yeah, but no. I just told you that they put allopathy medicine in Ayurveda pills. So putting Viagra in the herbal medicine. So,
no. Sorry, they use herbs and stuff like that to do that. If you come to India, I could give you the proof. Actually, I know how to.
That's not the proof. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. This is not proof.
No, because practically I can show you that. No.
You can't show me. Okay, you can't show me because I can
judge for yourself.
I am not an expert, and you are not an expert.
Anybody can come.
No. Anyone can show me the window is shaking without any strings, but that could be an illusion. That could be a trick. I just shared this news story. Viagra anesthetic found in Ayurveda potency pills.
I'm not shared by potency FDA. Pills, sir.
Huh?
No, sir, I'm not speaking about potency pills. I'm speaking about real-time medicine which cures certain ailments. That's what I'm speaking about.
There is no evidence of that. Okay, so
anybody who has got a chronic disease can come to India and get it checked now.
Well, you
can do that.
No, that's just false because, as I said, pass the test, submit the paper, and we'll try it. Okay, thank you. I got to wrap it up. All right, people. This is just Ayurveda. Right. Okay. Let's try Shahir Ali. What would you like to say, Shahir?
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So before we start, I just want to say that I heard this lecture from Dr. Yasir Qadi about Muhammad's marriage to Zainab, and I felt like a part of me was lost.
Right. What did Yasir Qadi say? I'm not familiar with his take on that.
Yeah. So like after you can just watch his video, but like after that, like a part of me was lost, and I'm not gonna say anything more. So
but in a bad way. But in a sorry, I just want to say, Chava guy said they don't know what double-blind experiment is. No point getting into a debate. Yeah, I felt like that at that point. So it was so easy for him to say that it's their perspective. They're looking from this perspective. That is the only perspective that works. And then people like Sanjay Dixit say, "We're seekers. They're not open about it. They're not open about our perspective. Your perspective is literally putting a blindfold on your eyes and trying to see the reality." Anyway, so you're saying that those of you who don't know, Muhammad had an adopted son, Zaid, and Zaid, one day he went to see him, but he wasn't there. Then he saw his wife alone. Some sources say that she was very scantily clad at that point, and then Zainab said that, sorry, you're not, Zaid is not home. Muhammad said, okay, sorry, I'll come back later. And then when he turned around, he mumbled in his mouth and said, oh, trust God who turns hearts. She tells this to Zaid. Zaid comes to his adopted father, Muhammad, and says, if you need my wife, you can have her. And he said, no, don't keep your wife. I don't need her. And then the verse came. The verse said, oh, prophet. What was the verse number, if you remember?
Yeah. After that, like
do you know the verse number?
No, but like
okay, that's fine. Please
I know that I was what I'm trying.
Hang on. I'm just doing it for the people. I'm trying to give them the context.
Okay.
You break the flow. So Muhammad said, verse came and said, oh, Prophet Muhammad, we knew what was in your heart. You wanted to do it, but you said no. So marry your son's daughter so other people can also marry their adopted. So people can end the tradition of marrying the tradition of not marrying your adopted son's daughters. So why don't you do a practical and show them that it's okay? So that's what he's talking about. And Yasir Qadi apparently this is the truth. This is according to their own theology and own commentaries. So this is what Shahir is saying that he probably found out. And I don't know specifically what Yasir Qadi's take was on it. He's saying that he lost his part.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
it was exactly the same. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're saying that you couldn't buy that. That how could it be allowed?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much more, but like I'm speaking from.
Okay, what else would you like to say then?
No, like I'm Pakistani, and I've always felt that I've watched a couple of Indian media news sources, and what I've seen is that they're much more like angry towards us than our own media sources. This is something that I've personally felt. Do you think that is true?
Angry as in what you're saying on political issues, or what are you talking about?
No,
like Indian.
I just think that the Indian media, like, they talk about Pakistan much more than Pakistani media talk about Indian media.
Yeah, but maybe I don't think we can draw that, because when you look at Indian media, you would only see a news clipping or a video of. Obviously, there's some very hawkish journalists, and jingoism is peddled a lot in India.
No, like Arnab and
yeah, we know that. Yeah, we have Zaid Hamid as well. We used to have Hamid Gul as well. We have Oriya Maqbool as well. We have these guys as well. We have people like Fayazul Chauhan, who said that, oh, you Hindus, you drink cow urine. We have those people as well. And he did it twice. We also constantly propagate our stance on Kashmir. We also have certain textbooks in some schools where Hindus as people are taught to be filthy and dirty. I have shared that.
You're right. I was completely ignorant on the topic.
So we have that as well. Again, I'm not giving a free pass to India. Their media is very hawkish. There are some like Arnab Goswami. He's an absolute filth. Then there are so many other news platforms who are very biased. You just read half a page and you go like, whoa, what are these guys talking about? Some people say NDTV is a leftist media, but I've seen even NDTV attacks Imran Khan and misquoted him the other day about his comment about Taliban are civilians or whatever. We know when you watch it, you know clearly what he meant by that. He misspoke again. Yes, that's stupid of Imran Khan to keep misspeaking and not realizing what he's saying. That's his problem that he needs to work on. But NDTV, that is supposed to be a leftist media, was also misquoting him. So yeah, it happens. I mean, these countries run on religion and religious supremacy and nationalistic narrative. That's why they're like that.
Oh, okay. So one more thing. So I watched your lecture with Abdullah. You know the
Gondal,
Abdullah.
yes.
Yes. So so he I remember him saying that, like, so there's this helmet which was developed in the 90s, which can give you the feeling of God. It's a psychological feeling.
Yeah.
So my question, like, if you have him ever on again, so please ask this: why is it there?
What do you mean? Why is it there? It was just to. I can't remember the details. It was just to show that it's just a psychological position. And apparently, what I remember from that is Richard Dawkins did that test and he didn't feel anything. So I can't remember the exact details. If someone remembers it, they could probably write in the comment. But yeah, I mean, I reckon it would have been just to try to prove that it's a psychological position to believe in a god, as some people tend to believe more in ghosts and demons and gods.
Yeah. So, but like, why was it there in so many people?
What? Sorry, I don't know. You have to look it up. You have to look up God helmet. I can't think of the details about it.
For example, what I'm trying to say is whenever like I've been in trouble, whether I pray or not pray, I always ask God for help. It was there as if though it was supposed to be there. That is what my point is.
I don't understand. So you're saying, okay, you're obviously saying something in this context. I have no idea. So maybe we can talk about it later. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's take RX. RX, your mic is not connected, so I can't really take you. I think I just want to take the last call. One last call. It's almost 3 hours, and we can wrap it up. Anyone who wants to come? This is... Share the link. RX, here we go. Yes, RX, what would you like to say?
Hey, RX. Just the people who are listening to you about Ayurveda and it's a completely bullshit system. I'm a Hindu. I have seen many lives ruined by using Ayurveda, including my father. My father was a diabetic person who believed in Ayurveda. He went far as drinking cow urine, plus took a lot of Ayurvedic diabetic powders that he was prescribed by some Ayurvedic family person, doctor. His death was horrible. Lost liver function, liver damage, kidney damage, heart damage, eyes damage. People who are listening, please be rational. Don't do this. Don't listen to them. These people have so much impurities in their product that it will destroy your organ, and it'll make your life miserable. Your end life will be miserable. Believe in American proven peer-studied medicine like you promote. That's all I have to say. Please stop fighting with this. Cow urine, homeopathic medications, some rubs and ointments and stuff like that. That's fine. You can use them. If they work, they work. If they don't worry about it. But don't put anything in your mouth which is not proven please, again, your parents, save your parents' life, save your life, save your friend's life. Even the young generation is blind by this. Get away from this, and please be smart about it. And that's all I have to say, Harris. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That's a very good point. I think you said it better, because if they give us anecdotal evidence that, oh, I took an Ayurveda pill and it worked for me, well, match for a match, we can give you people who say that they tried Ayurveda medicine, so-called medicine, and it didn't work. And then, unfortunately, RX's case is saying that his father even tried he was diabetic, and he tried these pathetic remedies given by these quacks, these so-called scientists. It's a Hindu science, as the previous caller said. And unfortunately, he passed away. And yes, the mainstream, regular, real medicine does not always work, but they will tell you that it doesn't work. We don't have any cure for that. So please, this is the whole reason. This is the reason then why I emphasize on the fact, and then I want to end these practices: Ayurveda, Hikmat, astrology, karma bullshit, reincarnation bullshit, religion, Islam, all of these things. They're all different parts of dogmas, and they need to be crushed. They need to be boldly, even aggressively ridiculed, mocked, and criticized. And people like you'll find plenty of these. You know how easy it is for me to just start putting this persona on, like so many other people have done. Some people say, I can become very popular in India. I can become, but I never wanted that kind of popularity. This is the reason why I've actually been banging different aspects of Hinduism for nearly 2 years. You can find some of my videos that are nearly 2 years old, when I started criticizing certain elements of Hinduism. Obviously, you learn more. I don't know much about it, but what I do know about it is there's a lot of bullshit in it. Because more I look into it, more there's nothing. As I say this to our Muslim counterparts, to say, what's so special about it? There's nothing special I found in anything. Yes, there's certain good things, like yoga is very nice, meditation is very nice, very good work, well done. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Ayurveda is crap. Karma, no evidence. Reincarnation, no evidence. Cow urine, obviously pathetic. So yeah, anyway, all right.
No, but like what I said, I mean, if they want to believe in karma, reincarnation, who gives a damn? Don't worry about it. Let them do.
No, but it's bad though. No, but you have to understand it's bad.
It is bad. But it is bad. Don't get me wrong. It is bad. It is bad.
So why can't we talk about it? If it's bad, why can't we talk about it?
But that's what I'm saying. Don't talk about it. Keep it to yourself. This is we are here for facts, right? And like scientific.
No, but why can't we talk about it? Why can't we talk about it?
No, we can. We can definitely talk about it. They don't need to. They don't need to talk. They don't need to defend them because it doesn't make sense, and we shouldn't even entertain those anymore.
Look, they can defend it too. This is how discourse works. Whatever idea there is, we'll attack it. Some people will defend it, and this is how we go forward. So we can attack karma. They can defend karma. We can keep pushing them for evidence. They keep coming up with bullshit. That's just the way it is. That's how it works. So I have no problem with them defending it, but they have a problem with us speaking it. It's like, why do you not want us to speak? So anyway, I got to wrap it up. I think you're kind of a bit busy. Your phone is.
I got to go, Harris. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris. Thank you. All right. The Redemption is saying the so-called Western COVID vaccines, even after asking you to take 5 more doses with Ayurvedic doctor, was curing COVID, and government locked him up because of his rising popularity. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, sure. I think he discovered the virus and the vaccine, COVID, Ayurveda. Right. I mean, what kind of, what is this? So there's an Ayurveda doctor. He has found a cure for COVID, and government arrested him because he was fucking fooling people. That's why the government arrested him. Even government like Modi's government arrested him. Man, what is wrong with these people? What is he saying? My own grandmother died of COVID after taking the US Pfizer. Good job, Western medicine. Yeah, well, my grandmother didn't. What are you saying? Stop talking crap, bruv. Check it out before laughing. What do I have to check it out? Why would your government arrest him? Because he's a quack. That's why your government arrested him. Anyway, all right, guys. I think this is it. I think we need to wrap it up. As always, as I say, please do check out my Instagram. I'm uploading videos, photos there with my travels, and I'm sure you like it. And you can be a patron. You can follow my Instagram and Twitter, the Sultan. That's where the real videos go up, because I can't show everything here, but I can show a lot on Twitter. So do follow me on Twitter. All right, guys. I think this is it. Until next time. Ciao.